Do 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 do. Oh wait, that's Dr. Jim Majors.
Hey, I'm so sorry about that. I had an internet outage.
Shh, it's okay. Nobody knows.
Don't say anything.
Don't say anything. We'll have you on later. It's fine. Okay, since he already outed himself, this was one of my other guests for tonight, and he had an internet issue. Well, you know, it kind of happens when you're a countryish kind of person. Sometimes you lose internet. Hell, I lose internet here, and I'm not even that far from. I'm only like 25 minutes from town.
Sometimes I lose my socks while my boots are still on.
Damn, I hate it when that happens, man.
That's country.
Yeah, that's really country. How do you have big holes in your boots or?
No, just don't wear socks.
Oh. Oh, bees have no concept of time. We can't blame them. No, you're right. You're right. I don't worry about time. I only do that when I'm at work. Actually, I don't even look at the time at work because as long as I'm busy and I'm answering phones and I'm doing shit and typing and blah, blah, blah. And then I look up like today, I looked up and someone had called and I was like, oh, da, 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 da. And they said something about the date. And I was like, no, yeah, it's the 12th. And I looked at my computer and I looked and I was like, oh my God, I'm done in 20 minutes. No idea. I just don't look. The time is irrelevant until it's time to clock out. So. And the office manager, she always says, B, did you print up the schedule for tomorrow? Oh, well, then it's about 10 till, isn't it? She tells me every day at 10 till. I don't have to look at the time. It's great. I want
to officially out Jim Majors as having put in the necessary work, defended his ideas, and approved by a large peer group, and has now achieved what he's been working at for quite some time and gotten his doctorates. Congratulations, Jim Majors.
Thanks so much, Richard. I appreciate it, man.
Awesome, man. That's a lot of shit there.
Yeah, almost right at 10 years total.
Whew. Damn, man. So you went into college right out of high school? Because you're young as fuck still.
No,
I know you have
went into the Navy right out of high school, and sorry, there's an echo. No, I went to the Navy right after high school, and started college there. You know, while it was free and everything. And then after I got out, you had some GI Bill and what they call the Montgomery GI Bill, and then they have the Hazelwood Act in Texas that allows you a few $1,000s extra for education. So,
oh, nice. Yeah, I remember that Montgomery GI Bill.
I remember it too.
It's not all it's touted out to be, unless you have kids. If you have kids, it's great.
Yeah,
I remember that because when I got out, I ETS'd, I said to the processor, I'm never going to go to college. Can I have my $1,200 back? She literally said, don't think of it as money you don't have. Don't think of it as money you earned. Think of it as money you never had.
Right. There's a lot of loopholes. That was an official statement towards a lot of things. Like any sort of training or certification you wanted to get, firefighter, anything like that.
Nice, Cadence. I had the Montgomery GI Bill and converted it to post 9/11 GI Bill, which covered 100%.
Did not know that was possible.
I've never even heard of the post 9/11 GI Bill. I got out in 2012.
Oh, really? You didn't even know about it? Well, you got
gypped, I've never heard of it. I got in after 9/11 Operation Enduring Freedom, but I don't know what they post 9/11 GI Bill covers 100%. 100% of what?
You know what? I think you need to go talk to the Navy, sir, and say, hey, how come I didn't get this shit? You're talking about 100% of school. Cadence, why don't you just come up here and talk to us? This would be
They lied to me before I went in there. So, I mean, they're probably going to lie to me when I get out.
The military never lies to anybody, young man.
I want to say something serious just real quick about the military.
String you along.
for anyone who's thinking about joining any branch of service whatsoever, I want to tell you why you will sign in and swear in twice. And here's the fact of the matter. Yep. When you sign in the first time, you sign in with your actual printed and signed name, right? With normal letters, capitals where they belong and lowercase where they belong. When you sign in the second time, it is subjected to when you signed in the first time. Because in your first signing, you are declaring yourself a non-living entity. That's what you're doing. You're now a corporation. And then when you sign in the second time, you sign in as that corporation. And that's how you lose most of your civil rights. Well, I did not know that when I was going into the military.
You definitely lose a lot. And I'll tell you something else too that they won't tell you. If you are interested and you join up with a recruiter and you sign those papers and you enter what they call DEPS, the delayed entry program, or MEPS, the military entrance processing station, they will act like you don't have a choice, like you are signed up. But until you get to Great Lakes, Illinois, or wherever you're going for basic, you are not. You can turn around, you can walk out at any minute, tell them to kiss your ass. They will tell you that you can't. You absolutely can.
Without repercussions, you mean?
Yep.
You are not AWOL. You don't be scared.
Exactly. Until you're done.
Walk.
Until you sign that final paperwork. You are absolutely free. That's why they have that amnesty room where you can drop guns or drugs or whatever you have when you go in. And for people who don't know, there is an amnesty room, or at least there was a room when I went in. And it was like in the center of this huge room full of all these recruits. And they say, go to the okay, you signed in. We know who you are. We know you're here. Go to the amnesty room. I don't have anything to declare. Go in there anyways. So I walked in there and I stood there for a minute. And then I walked back out because I didn't have any guns or drugs on me because I'm not fucking stupid. But they give you that opportunity to drop everything you have and leave it behind and not take it in with you and be stupid. So, and then after that, you go and get all your little shots and blah, 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 blah. And then you sign that piece of paper and then you're done. Then that's it. They own you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get the shot steps, you get the basic. I mean, once you get on their bus, that's it. You know?
Oh, they gave us shots in MEPS.
They gave you shots in MEPS?
Oh yeah, we didn't. Like, yeah, they processed us fully, did the physical exam on us. The physical exam was one of the first things they did. Strip down to your bras and underwear, ladies. And there was this old,
were you delayed
these two old German men in there, like, oh, you're okay. I don't know, I can't do a German accent. And I was like, this is kind of creepy. Like, these dudes are like 60 and there's all these 18-year-old girls in here with me. Like, this is weird. Where's the female?
Creepy for who?
But you lost that right when you walked in the door. So you can't say, I need a female in here with me. Nope.
And then
not gonna happen,
when you get to boot camp, you get more shots. You get to go see a dentist that does not care about your feelings, but only cares about getting through the line of 200
people. Who saw
people.
a dentist? That's upgraded. I never saw a dentist.
Really?
I mean, not when I first went in.
They had what they call P days, your processing days. They're between 3 and 5 days, sometimes as long as a week, where they can't IT you, they can't do anything like major, and until you're okay, you're cleared for duty. And that includes dental, it includes medical, it includes more shots and vaccinations, physicals, and things like that.
I did all that at Pittsburgh MEPS.
But they sit there with a little notepad, and they'll sit there and just anytime you piss them off, just write it down. They'll remember that shit. And then when P days are over and everybody's clear, they're like, "All right, time to pay some debts."
I treated it kind of like prison, Jim. I went in and I kept my fucking mouth shut. That's what I did. I went in and I shut my mouth, and
it was a loud mouth.
Yeah, and I waited until I felt like, okay, now I can say something. I just kept my mouth shut because I knew damn well that I was not in charge anymore. I came from, our whole family's been military back, I don't know how many generations. Jim, we knew better than that shit.
Any of your family military, Jim?
No, I was first generation.
Oh, okay. See, we grew up with a father. This is literally our father, right? He's mad. Somebody did something, he doesn't know who it is. He would yell front and center. We had to line up in the position of attention from oldest to youngest. He would say, "Who did it?"
Wait. According to height, it wasn't
Did you have
always
45
youngest.
corners on your
Well,
bed?
you're right, because Walt eventually got taller than everybody else, so he had to move to the front of the line. It was according to height. And then he would say, "Who did it?" And he's sitting there with an old 70s belt that was this wide with a bunch of holes in it. I remember that belt distinctly.
Was it white?
And he would ask who did it, and everybody would be like, "Oh, it wasn't me," you know. We're just standing there like this, looking at each other. Yeah, like, I don't know who did it. And it was almost always our middle brother. Like, that was the guy. Yeah, it was always Keel.
But as long as he says that he doesn't do it, he gets to take down some people with him.
Yeah.
Well, this was what would happen is Dad would say, "Okay, well, I'm going to start beating the youngest," and he would pull me up. Oh no, that's what he would do. But get over my knee until somebody admits it.
Man, I was the oldest, man. Like, I always went first when it sucked, and I always went last when you wanted to be first, like with dinner. But
yeah, right. No, we didn't do it like that. Mom served us all at once. We weren't in any order like that. She served all of us. We all had food on the table, and then you had to eat quickly if you wanted seconds, because those boys would fucking suck it up. I remember like eating my last bite of pancake on a Saturday morning and going like this, and the last one would disappear. None
of this is true. None of this is true. The boys did not eat more than the girls, not at all.
My mom would serve my dad first, and then my youngest brother, and then my two sisters, and then me.
Weird.
Well, when Dad was there, yeah, that happened. But she kicked him out when I was 8. So, and Richard was 11. So I don't remember much about that. He was just kind of there, and then he wasn't. And then shit was more peaceful. That's all I remember.
Well, my mom was kind of groomed from an early age to be the typical model housewife that doesn't question things and does as her husband says and just raises the kids. So she had no real marketable skills by the time it came to the point that she realized that it probably wasn't the best decision to stay with him. So she had to add a necessity.
Yeah. Oh, let me finish that story real quick, just so you guys know. I didn't really get beat a lot. I didn't, because the older kids would go, "I did it, Dad," just so he wouldn't beat me.
I did. Hi, Mom. You know what you did.
Yeah, they would just admit to it. Everybody knew who did it, but we all knew he wasn't going to fucking say he did it. So Susan and I think Richard and Walt took hits for me a lot, so I wouldn't get beat because they knew it wasn't me. So
that's okay. I left a scar on her forehead by throwing a rock at her, so we got even.
Yeah. No, you did. Yeah, we had ammo. The rocks were ammo. This is a good story. Okay, so I'm 6 years old. I think I was 6, right? Because we were at Jarvisville, so I think I was 6. I was 6 years old. So he's like 9 and Keel's like 10, and we're throwing rocks at a hubcap that we hung on the tree.
Big blue gray eyes, bit blonde hair, cute as a button.
Oh yeah, I had big curly ass blonde hair. It was crazy. So we're throwing rocks at this tree, and I was like, I got to get some more ammo, because it was ammo, right? Because we wanted to be we were all like military shit. And so I go over to get some more rocks, and I stood up right when Richard threw a rock. And it pegged me, and I have a scar to this day.
Oh, wait. You're too forgiving. The truth of the matter is, and I think this will jar your memory, is you were insisting it was your turn to throw. I insisted it wasn't. You wouldn't move out of the way. I said you better move. I threw it. You didn't duck.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, no, it was a fight. I threw that at you on purpose.
It's a good thing I fucking love you.
Nice shot.
It's funny in our household, because there were 6 of us growing up together. Someone was always hurt. Someone was always hurt. There was always somebody with a wound.
I got her by 3 years.
Yeah, you're the oldest out of all of them?
No, we're the youngest.
No, we're the youngest too. I'm the youngest
too. Okay.
Yeah, the oldest is now actually in 4 days will be 61.
I'm the oldest. The youngest is 21.
How many of it? Well, we shouldn't talk too much about that, because we're going to do another interview with you at a later time. So let's not get too much into that.
Okay.
Don't tell your family dynamics. That's one of our standard questions.
Yeah, that's where I start. Well, you could build off of that, and just somebody talk and it flows, and it's their story. So,
but there were no dynamics though. It was just like go to school, go home, and hide until bedtime.
Yeah, well, you'll have that.
Beth and I were talking about it. I'm gonna stop doing that. One of these times. We were talking about it, and recalled. Actually, she recalled to me. I'd forgotten that there was so many people to choose from, and we formed these friend groups within the kids, and we had purposeful and contrived clubs. Now you could be in any number of clubs that you chose, right? So you could be a constant total. Hold on. You could be a constant turncoat, and that's fine. You could even be a spy for another team. Okay, but we had clubs named growing up. Like, we had cliques within the family. We had the I Hate Wendy Club, the I Hate Susan Club, the I Hate Walt Club. There were no I Hate Keel, Richard, or Beth clubs.
No, it was the oldest three always. Yeah.
You had to be in one of the I Hate one of the oldest three clubs, and you could be in multiple clubs. Okay.
Yeah. See, for instance, I was in the I Hate Wendy and I Hate Walt club, but I was never in the I Hate Susan club because Susan and I were like inseparable. Right. We were attached at the hip, so I was never.
We also had designated days to pick on a certain person.
Yeah.
Like there was pick on Wendy day, pick on Keel day. Now that trickled down into the lower ones.
Yeah.
If Wednesday wasn't on Wednesday, you're doing it wrong.
If what?
If Wendy wasn't on Wednesday, you're doing it wrong.
You see, that's a good observation. What it wasn't every
I don't
week.
Remember. I think it was random though. I think we changed it. I don't think it was ever consistent.
I don't think once a week isn't enough.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Well, there was 6 of us. You had an extra day.
Oh.
We took Sunday off. No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
I don't know, but we always did our own thing. Like there were 4 of us, so I mean, there wasn't enough to have a baseball team, and there wasn't enough to, that we were really interested in anything. It was 2 boys and 2 girls, and so really it was just like we just did our own thing.
It's obviously badminton and volleyball. Obviously,
we absolutely played badminton a lot growing up. Yeah.
Oh, well,
every time we went to somebody's house, they'd pull out the games that they couldn't play because there was only 2 of us. Because now there was 8 people. You know.
Well, if my dad would see me playing something like badminton or volleyball, he would say, pardon my French, but he'd say, what are you doing playing that queer ass game or something like that?
Yeah.
Real open-minded dude then. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you got to play a manly game like baseball or football where you grab each other's asses.
Oh, his internet just froze again.
That's okay. He'll be back.
It's not a bad pose, though. He looks good.
Yeah, no, he does look good there.
He looks a little bit surprised, perhaps, right now, but
he does just a touch, like, There he is. The glitch is too much on you, Jim. Just go to icon; it'll help out. Anyways, yes, Mac. We were regular every Sunday Catholics. We were not. We didn't sit around talking about God and the Bible all the time. We talked about science a lot because our mother was a science teacher and damn near a nurse, like literally one step away from her certification to be an RN, and walked away and said, I want to be a science teacher. I can't watch people die. She was too soft-hearted. So, so we talked about a lot about science, and I really feel like looking back that there wasn't as much conversations about religion because we never mixed the two. If there was any religion discussion, there was no science discussion. And now looking back, I'm thinking, well, because it conflicted, and Mom probably fucking knew it.
Yeah,
because she absolutely believed in evolution. I know she did because she was a fucking scientist. So I feel like it was a conflict of interest. And I really feel like the only reason she stayed in the Catholic Church is because that's how she was raised. And she thought that was how you should raise your children. You should take them to church,
Natural sciences
kind of thing.
Both Mom and Dad, in their teaching of us, concentrated most on the natural sciences. I'll give an example. Dad once hooked up an extension cord and a 100-watt bulb out to the chicken coop, started tracking all of the laying hens and the development of all the chicks that were being developed, and found 10 stages of life by lighting the bulbs, and brought us down to the creek, invited us, not all of us went, down to the creek and cracked them open and showed us the stages of chicken development.
Yeah. Showed you how to candle
100 watt. He used a 100-watt bulb and kept grease pencil mark on them.
Yeah, it's the
Track
same
them.
thing.
Oh my
They still call it
god!
candling.
I never saw them open, but I remember the fucking grease marks on the eggs. I didn't know why they were
Right.
there. I just know
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to pick them.
No, you opted to not go down to the creek because you thought that was gross.
Oh, okay, well, because I loved all animals, I didn't want to see a dead baby
Yeah,
animal.
you were too
But,
soft.
and you
I
mark them
went.
too if you're going to incubate them all the way, so that you know when to turn them or what side to turn them on.
Yeah.
Well,
if
we
you're
had
gonna-
enough chickens
we
and
had
eggs
hens.
coming that we
Yeah.
weren't worried about losing a couple
Right.
of babies. Like really, we
No.
always had it. We always had eggs, and there was all of us. That's like those
I do it every
Rhode
year.
Island Reds really produced. For real.
Oh shoot! I got meat and egg birds.
Right on.
You know, I didn't even know that eggs came in a different color until we got older, and I went out on my own and bought eggs because we never bought them. We always had chickens. That was the one thing that we never ever had to buy. I thought they were all brown. I go to the store, open them up to check, and I'm like, these are white.
I've seen
Oh,
green,
those are brown.
blue,
I'm gonna buy the brown ones. Why are these white? Did they bleach them? Like I didn't know because I don't
we
see
did
brown.
we did for a short time have Araucana pullets who
Yes.
Americana.
and they no Araucana
Oh, Araucana. Huh.
Araucana, which lay colored eggs.
Okay.
And
Yes.
and it's completely random. You never know what color egg that hen is going to lay, but they come in like pastel colors of literally yellow, blue, red, and green. Like no
Yes.
joke.
So we literally never had white eggs. We always had colored eggs growing up.
It was always some color, but
This
never
is why I
white.
was never prejudiced. This is why. It was the eggs.
It was definitely. Wait a minute. So, yeah.
No, it's because I had
crazy,
an
you know, we
awesome
eat chicken
brother that
eggs, but
said,
we don't eat
your
chicken
father is
sperm."
wrong. Don't judge people by the color of their skin. That's really why I was
Yeah.
not prejudiced.
Yeah, judging by the color of their shell.
Yeah, don't judge. Yeah, don't judge a book by its
Or
cover. Well, that was a
buy
big
egg by its
saying with
shell.
our mother. She always
Yeah.
said that.
Judge them by
Yeah,
the darkness of their yolk.
That's
Yeah.
right.
There you
And
go.
by the way, store-bought eggs have really pale yolks that almost have no flavor.
Like
Just
yellow. Yeah,
They're
they're real
barely
yellow.
yellow.
Man, the ones I have like orange.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, egg yolks should be almost orange. They
And
should
it's so
be
much
so
more
dark
flavor.
yellow. Yeah, and they're filling. It's like city eggs. I have to eat 6 in my omelet. Country eggs, 3 will do you.
I have
Right.
one that regularly gives me a double yolker. You won't find it in a grocery store, but an egg with 2 yolk in it.
Well, because people freak out about it. They get rid of those. I used to work. Well, I don't know. Jim
Or
probably
little
doesn't know
blood
this.
spots.
I used to work at a chicken farm, and I did the service support, mechanical support, and feeding of the chickens. And it was an egg farm. So those chickens had all the food and water they could possibly fucking want. And they were actually really well taken care of. And anybody that was seen abusing a chicken, they would instantly be fired. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Take care of all my animals: chickens, goats, alpaca, horses, all of them.
I join, and B's talking about abusing chickens.
Oh shit! Bye.
But not
No, I said you
metaphorically.
can't abuse chickens. It's illegal.
Okay, so what sort of conversation do you fuckers have where abusing chickens comes up? I don't know what's going on here.
No, I was just
about
talking about
farming.
working on the egg farm.
So you work in an
if-
egg farm and you abuse chickens.
No.
Yes, she
I
does.
said I worked on the egg farm, and those chickens were very well taken care of. And as a matter of fact, if anybody abused them in any way, like yanked them by their wing, pushed them out of their way with their foot, they would be instantly fired. Didn't matter who
Which
it was.
is how she got fired.
Thank
No.
you, Richard, for clarification.
Actually, it's way stupider than that. I dropped a whole load of feed.
Oh my goodness, this is getting worse. I just feel like shouting chicken fucker and running away.
I dropped a whole load of chicken feed onto the ground because I had a brand
You
new
had
trailer
chicken
and it had a
feet?
remote control. And
So
I
you
dropped the
cooked
remote control on the
fucking feet
ground.
off
The arm
chicken.
swung over, and I dropped 48,000 pounds of very expensive special made feed onto the ground.
Okay,
They
so let me
saved
clarify
90%
this.
of the load
Hey,
and still fired me.
So you're not allowed to abuse chickens, and you had
No.
48,000 feet of chicken cut off these chickens that you weren't allowed to abuse.
What?
Feed.
No,
With
that's
a
not what I...
D. Feed.
She had feet.
Hold on,
heard
I need to
feet.
smoke more and catch up
Yeah.
with Math Big because I'm not sure where he's at
She
right
had
now.
48,000 chicken feet that she dumped and was surprised that she got fired.
Right.
You're not allowed
Like,
to abuse. chickens.
how did you not get fired cutting off the first 10,000 feet? What is this?
She got away with 48,000 feet.
Y'all are some amateurs.
Peace and respect,
Yes.
Khalil.
Yes,
Hello,
Randy,
Khalil.
they
What's
are
up, Richard?
gross. Khalil, how you doing, buddy?
How's it going?
Hey, man, it's going. We're cranking right along over here. We're talking about abusing chickens, apparently.
He was just telling us about how she cut 48,000 feet off chickens before she got fired from her job.
So are you guys speaking about halal food?
Yes.
She worked in a chicken.
Yes.
She worked in a
Yes. You had
factory where
perfect
she got
timing.
away with cutting off 48,000 feet. So that's 24,000 chickens suffered before she
Yes.
actually got the sack.
But they do have 3 toes forward and 1 back. That makes them a clean animal.
It doesn't matter how many toes they are. She cut them off, man. Feet.
That's not what you know what? Don't you start with me, young man.
Oh, I'm a young man now. I'm fucking near 40.
You're near 40. You're still over a decade younger than me, young man.
How
I
is
just
that
turned 50.
possible? How is that possible?
You know what?
True.
I don't have time for it. No, I'm
Oh
kidding.
my fucking goodness. I am
Every time
where's
he
that-
comes on, I kick him at least once. And then he kicks himself and blames it on me for the rest of the show.
Are you using the script? Are you using I'm gonna no, moving on.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
just
Khalil,
called
how
it-
you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Man, we are good. We're just sitting here bullshitting. And eventually we're going to end up talking about religion stuff here in a minute. So you have good timing.
Go.
You
Religion
have good
stuff.
timing.
You like religion?
Do I like religion?
No.
Define
no,
religion as an indoctrinated ways of teaching people things that are improper. No, we don't like
Not
that.
so much. Not so much that.
No. Now, if you have some good solid beliefs and something you could stand on and be firm about, and you're not a repeating Christian, then yeah, I'll listen. I'm good.
I believe
got a
I
badass
have-
I stopped listening to you, B. What were you saying?
No, just keep ignoring her. You're doing so good.
I
Jim.
just didn't start shit. Literally, I'm supposed to be going to bed and left fucking Diana. I was like, I'm going to bed, and then
Let's
realized
see.
you were live.
8:30 plus
You say
7.
that every time.
No, sure, fuck, man. You should stop going live at this fucking mad ass time because this is when I be going to bed, and it's like going to bed, gonna do my
Well,
wee.
you told me you had tomorrow off. That's
I
why I
do.
invited you to come over.
I do have tomorrow off.
Let's face it,
Ah.
Math Pig's a little off every day.
Hey,
You ain't gonna fall
Is you
asleep
that
on
can't
here,
get a
homeboy.
ginger beard right when you actually buy the dye? Come on. This is months later. Took practice. Last time I seen you, you were blood red. You nearly blended in with your back.
Oh my gosh, that was a bad one. Yeah, that was bad.
Sorry, I am feisty. It is National Northern Ireland Protestant Day, and I have had 2 after parties and a Patreon stream and a pre
wow.
party. So I've been streaming.
But
from-
not enough.
I'm bored, man. I don't know how unemployed people survive. In all
I-
honesty, I have no idea how unemployed people survive.
I agree
you're
with
not-
that.
Well, first of all, they take those big checks that are way more than what I make working my ass off, and they spend
you're
those. They spend those
stereotyping it. Let's
checks.
get a row going.
They spend those checks on things they want to spend it on because they're most likely living with like their parents or sister or aunt, uncle, grandparents, somebody. There's a bunch of them that live in one house, and then they all have this money to blow. I think that's how they do it.
The last time I had 4 days off. Now it was quite recent. It was last week, but that was because one of my nuts was 4 times the size what it should because my daughter kicked me between the legs. So
Wait, your kid kicked you and you got that result?
Well,
let's
There
not
was
go into
underlying
details.
issues he
Let's
didn't
not
know
go
about.
into
You almost
details.
hit the national
The
average.
point I'm trying to put across is, being in hospital and agonizing in pain for 48 hours is something to do.
Wait, I
This
want to get back
weekend
to
I'm
the
off for the
anatomy. Come on.
Protestant holidays, and I have fuck all to do. The only thing I have to do is cut the grass, and I put that off today, so I have something to do tomorrow. It's like,
What's
how
the
do
underlying
unemployed
issue?
people survive?
There must
Filling
be
my
some
time.
underlying. No,
Filling
not
my
that.
time. If-
What's the underlying issue that explains the result of what was a physical impact by a kid foot?
She aggravated something that was already there and made it 10 times fucking worse. And at the end of the note, I had to get a big ass needle in my ass, and it hurt
Yeah, I get
worse
that
than
part.
being kicked in the butts.
Yeah, I get that part, but just the same, what was the underlying? Did you have cancer?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I got a
Testicular
question.
epididymis. Testicular epididymis.
Okay.
I got a question just for clarification. B, you were talking about some of the unemployed people that typically live like in somebody's house, you know, a family member's house, and they don't really pay
Yeah, I was
rent and
being
stuff
very
like that.
very stereotypical. Yes, I was. Continue.
I was just going to ask, do you think or do you believe that system possibly has been set up by some type of systematic racism?
Well, it's absolutely set up because the bottom line is if we don't rely on the government, we don't need them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They want everybody to rely on them. That's why they're always going to pay a lot of money out for unemployment. So everybody is attached to them.
Gotcha. Okay. I just wanted
Because
to clarify.
the bottom line is we may be in charge of the government, but they own us.
Mm-hmm.
And they own us every day.
Oh, trust me. I know about that a lot. I spent 8 years. When I was an atheist, I think I used the phrase "taking the big green wiener every day" by the Army. So yeah, I totally understand.
Oh yeah, no, we were discussing military stuff earlier. Absolutely.
Matt Pig was in the Salvation Army.
I shop there sometimes.
Well, I was a junior soldier in training. That's what I was before I left.
Awesome.
I think Khalil actually knows that.
Of course, everyone else here was in the real military.
Man, I tell you what, that was the best excuse I ever had to cut my hair off. I was excited about that shit. Yes, buzz it.
This came from Afghanistan. This is my father's platoon that went to Iraq and Afghanistan. That's their badge. That's the 4 ones from Northern Ireland that went out.
I was wondering what that thing was.
That's all give some at some and give
Some
all,
give all,
and an Irish one with the rose or the poppy. Sorry, that's the national or the TA as we call it over here, the Territorial Army. And I collect poppies as a remembrance from the Second World. So that's what that is. My dad bought that in Afghanistan. He did in total a year in Iraq and 6 months in Afghanistan. So I do have respect for the army. You know, fuck you and your Salvation Army.
Okay, so let's bicker over religious context.
Hold on, real quick. I want to say what Maya said. She said, because she said, "Are you kidding?" And I said, "Kidding about what?" So she said, "It's really hard to get unemployment in most states. Many red states don't even have functional application systems. Also, almost impossible to get unemployment for more than 26 weeks. So they have exactly that long to find a plan, or mom and dad just paying for them, which isn't a state issue." Okay, I don't know. I just know that a lot of places I've lived, that I've known people for years that, I don't know, maybe they claimed some kind of disability and I didn't know about it, but they didn't seem disabled to me. Like they were fine walking around. They didn't have any issues. Fucking lazy. So if they ended up on disability and I didn't know it, I apologize, Maya, for not being informed enough, and thank you for that information.
That particular phrase that you said, B, as much as I fucking love the absolute bones of you, is the reason that my mother with a disability badge does not use her disability badge, because when she parked outside a fucking shop, someone said to her, "Why are you parking there? You don't look disabled." And her disability badge, no joke, her disability badge is in my glove box of my car, because I had to pay fucking upwards of £20 a fucking day to park in the hospital if I didn't have a disability badge. When I went to the hospital to get checked, knowing that I would be there for that word amount of time, my mother gave me her disability badge. Again, breaking the law ever so slightly, but you know, £20 a fucking day to stay. It's £1 an hour to stay in the hospital in the car parking. She doesn't use her disability badge in a shop at the front door, because when she did, someone said that to her. So I'm not going to be an ass, but
no, it's true. There are lots of, and I agree 100%. I mean, I work in a doctor's office. I know there's people that walk in there and they don't really look that bad off, but they also have a lot of internal problems you cannot see. Just because somebody doesn't have a cane or a walker or, you know, something obvious like cerebral palsy or MS or something, that does not mean they're not disabled.
She doesn't have a ball and socket joint in her top left, or her top left. It's not like she's fucking 2 arms on her left hand side. She doesn't have a ball and socket on her left hand side. It's all muscle, you know, so she can't carry anything long distance or anything like that or whatever, you know. So
you had her holding your wood?
You just flashback humor, but yes.
My grandma, she just got a wheelchair lift installed on her stairs, and it drives her up the fucking wall.
She hates it.
It drives her up a wall.
Oh my God! You know what?
The worst. So sorry, God's not real. Like me.
I have to do it, Jim. Everybody gets kicked once on my after party, so
Start using.
I haven't gotten kicked yet.
yeah, it'll happen, buddy. Oh my God, his internet just kicked him off. Oh, son of a bitch! I didn't kick him that time. He's gone.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah. So yeah, no, you guys can. You guys are free to talk about whatever you want. I have already warned everybody. This is probably going to be
it Khalifa? Was it Khalifa?
Religious conversation, and that's fine. You're the guest. Talk about it.
Well, who was it that didn't turn up tonight? Was it? I think it was tonight. Not knowing that I didn't know.
No. Schmip. Nope, we're not talking about that.
Okay,
No.
Khalil. So Khalil, let's get started on this. I love you, brother.
That means it's about to get bad.
Yeah, I was doing the exact same thing. I thought he's fucking lying. Get ready.
I do love you. I actually do love you. Okay, so we spoke a little bit, and you said this is cerebral for you, non-emotional, and you said I dismiss religions based on contradictions within the religion. Am I good so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Echoing. Stool.
Hello, not me, not guilty.
Not echo. I don't hear echo.
So
I'm a good boy.
2 tabs open.
I hear an echo.
I'm just here for the flying horses, just saying.
I turned my speaker down. Let's see how that goes.
Still remembers our last discussion.
Say again. Say that again, Khalil.
I said still remembers our last discussion that we had because it ended on flying horses.
Here's the thing, Bees brother. I have a very long memory. It's twice as long as your beard.
That's half as long as your cock.
Baruch.
Moving on, then.
I'm not allowed to respond to that.
I'm not muted.
Yeah, neither one of you are. That's why I laugh for you. You're welcome. Carry on.
The hill.
Sorry. I'm here for comedy relief. That's all I ever am.
So yeah, I agreed with what you said, Richard. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious because I've been watching some of your streams with your brothers and seeing some of the things you've been saying and presenting. Although YouTube's not giving me alerts for crap, that's off topic. Sorry. So I never catch you live anymore. But anyway, I watch them in review. And do you now have anything that you would say, okay, I don't really get this part. This part doesn't make sense to me. And I'm suggesting this, saying that I would defend the Quran.
So yeah, there's tons of stuff that I'm completely confused about.
Let's do one.
Well, I mean, why I can't eat pork. Like, I don't know why I can't eat pork.
A little bit of context. Okay. I know that it's not presented this way within the believers. I'll grant you that from the start.
Yep.
But if it is a true and living work that applies to all times, one of those times would be end times. Okay. Can you understand why it would be demanded of some small believer group intended to read the text that they should not eat pork?
I could see that. Yeah.
Okay. Next problem. They got no refrigeration. They got
I'll be
sanitation.
But how
no
would
infrastructure.
Hold on, Jim. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, Jim, there wouldn't be infrastructure, refrigeration, electricity, blah, blah, blah.
Changed my name
Yeah,
to Mad Pig.
I'll let you guys have to have this conversation.
You changed my name to Mad Pig. I'm generally a nice person.
Mad Pig. That's funny.
This is not true. He's Irish. Don't trust him.
What else you got?
He's already killed me 3 times tonight. Don't trust him.
Well, I mean, yeah. So there are many different things that let's just say God commands that I don't quite understand. Why is homosexuality a sin? I don't disagree with the law that it's a sin. I just don't understand why people can't be happy.
Wait. Okay. So you're talking to your son who's like 11 years old. And you're trying to explain to him what a kiss is. So you use the example of a mom or dad kiss. but then you explain the differences between that kind of a kiss and like a sexual kiss. But you have to start with something the person already understands. And we call those teaching tools, specifically memory hooks.
Mm-hmm.
See something wrong with using things like food sources, sexuality, social interactions, these sorts of things as memory hooks for teaching.
I'm not getting where you're going with this.
Well, is there something wrong with using people's experiences for teaching further?
No, I think you have to use your experiences to teach further.
Okay, now tell me what the word infidel means.
Infidel, it could mean a number of different things in the Islamic world. Infidel could mean unbeliever. Infidel could mean oppressor. It could mean a number of different things of somebody who's going against the glory of God.
Great. What's the literal translation?
I don't know.
It means to cheat on them. You're expressing infidelity.
I know as it as a transgressor, as someone who is unloyal, something like that.
Yeah, the action or state of
general meme with Fido being converting from Fidel, which is loyal, and that's why
it means to betray an agreement.
Yeah,
right. Okay, so it's breaking a contract.
Fido, that's why Fido became a dog's name.
That's right. So it's betraying a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same word we use to describe someone cheating on their spouse.
Yep.
For exactly the same reasons.
Yes. Or
is there something
or your country?
Yeah, sure. Is there something wrong with me using a marriage between two people to describe the relationship between believer and God?
No, I don't think there's really anything wrong with that.
Do you realize how often that happens in these stories?
Sure. Yeah. What I'm referring to is specifically when it states that we should not commit sodomy, because I think that's specifically what it talks about.
It is specifically what it literally says.
Mm-hmm.
What's the intent of expressing it?
What's the intent of expressing? I don't know.
Well, I'm making the suggestion. I think the intent in expressing it that way is to use a common experience to describe a higher thing that we have not experienced.
Okay. Blurgerb.
I'm still kind of lost.
Why are blowjobs bad?
They aren't. They're awesome. But that's beside the point. So I don't see any reason to believe other than the standard view of the text, which is kind of literal, but kind of literal in the wrong way. Taking it as being literally, let's go to the ultimate. I'll just skip all the foreplay and say, look, the only thing you can do to keep yourself out of heaven is to reject Allah himself.
To reject Allah himself. Yeah, pretty much.
You could have been a murderer. You could have been a rapist. You could have been.
Yeah. Within our belief system, there are very few things that give you an eternity in hell. The other things that you spend a finite amount of time. Yeah.
So then sodomy doesn't matter.
No, but it does, because if you do it while you claim to be a Muslim, then that's problematic, because then you're obviously not Muslim, because if you were Muslim, then you would be holding to a stricter standard of morality.
So a Muslim can't repent their acts later?
We can.
Yes, thank you. Ultimately, none of this matters. It's only being used as examples. It's only a teaching tool. That's all.
So, but how does that teach if all you had to do is say, okay, start over? Like, what good does that do? It sounds like it's just you just giving somebody unlimited get out of jail free cards.
It is unlimited get out of jail free card. We'll just grant that off the bat. Okay. Repentance results in grace, period.
So what's the point in having a jail on the Monopoly board if everybody has the opportunity to get these?
There isn't one. That's my point, Jim. Jim, that's my point. There isn't a jail. Christians say there's a jail space. The text says no jail space.
Then why is sodomy bad? If there's no punishment?
It's not talking about sodomy. That's my point.
Why do you keep bringing up sodomy?
Because
I didn't bring it up. Somebody else brought it up.
I did.
Because the point isn't sodomy. The point is the spiritual thing, where when you do things against self, it's bad for self. When you do things against God, it's bad for self. That's what it's talking about.
Can I
It's
clear up
only
maybe-
using these things as examples.
Can I give a little context to maybe clear things up a little bit with the Islamic view? Is that it's not just a oh shit, I did this thing wrong. I had sex with a man and I'm a Muslim, so now all I got to do is repent and then I'm good to go. And then it's not like that.
Right.
So at the end on Judgment Day,
is that not basically Catholicism?
well, yeah. Well, I'm going to explain how it's completely different from any Christianity of any sort because I find Christianity and their
it's a change of mind.
I find Christianity and their ways of salvation completely immoral. I completely I disregard it for many different reasons. But the Islamic view is that we do good things in our life, we do bad things in our life. When the day of judgment comes, we are rewarded for some things and punished for other things. So depending on what type of person we are, our salvation is based strictly on our deeds, the type of person that we were, if we were good to people, if we were not. And if we pray 5 times a day, that's bonus points. If we believe in Allah, that's bonus points. If we we eat too early on Ramadan, but don't realize that we didn't wait for the correct time, and like I ate 10 minutes earlier than I should have one night during Ramadan, I get bonus points for that because it wasn't intentional. So our intentions are everything. So if God knows that we're just going to be like, well, I'm going to fuck up this one time, and then I'm going to say sorry just so I can fuck up again, that's not going to flow. That's not how Allah deals with things.
So the thing that you're pretending to believe in is basically a game show where you get bonus points.
I wouldn't use the phrase
right, or this
school.
skilled out mom who's not in her children's life, and then she just like lets them do whatever.
Okay, hold on. Stool. Do not say things like you pretend to believe in. If he believes in it and believes in it, that's disrespectful, and I appreciate if you don't do that. Thank you.
It was a joke, wasn't it?
Watch his body language. Just say.
I don't take offense to it.
I do, and that's what matters.
It's
I
your
don't,
show.
I don't allow that shit on here, and everybody knows it. So carry on.
Yes, I just wanted to add a little context to that to state that we don't get these like free get out of jail free cards. Like if I'm misabusing the system will fuck me up. The system will work against me, and I will end up spending a very, very long time in hell, which I would rather not spend any time in hell. So there's incentive, and there's the prayers 5 times a day that consistently remind me to keep trying to be a good person, to keep treating people well. And that's why this whole homosexuality thing within the Abrahamic religion is so weird to me, because I see 2 men that love each other, and yes, they're apparently sinners within my belief system, and I have to agree with Allah to say that's a sin to act upon your homosexuality, but I don't know why. That's my problem. Now, I don't think that's comparable to things that are logically contradictory.
Hold on, Math Pig. Hold on.
If I can just ask for,
Okay, real quick.
No, you can't. You hadn't finished the sentence.
Real quick.
Slap that ginger beard off your little
All right, reach through the computer and do it, buddy. Come on, bring it.
I swear to I will slap that.
We don't have that technology, bro. Sorry.
Oh, just you wait. Really, you're Man in Black. Correct me if I'm wrong. Khalid, correct me if I'm wrong. So you have, I'm going to use bad words because I'm shit.
I use bad words.
You have an issue. You have a problem. You have with LGBTQ homosexual. You don't understand why in the context of your religion, or is it that you accept it and it's fine, but you can't understand why your religion has a problem with it?
I think it would be the latter. I think that I do not have a problem with people being happy and loving each other, regardless of what sex they're with. I think from what I can conjure up in my own head is that back in the day, they were told be fruitful and multiply. Obviously, if two men are together, we can't be fruitful and multiply. You need to be with a woman to impregnate her. Today, we have technology to where two men or two women can go to a sperm bank. There's all kinds of different routes.
Broad brushing it and black and whiting it. Yes, I understand where you're coming from. With the basics, and I am bland and I am blunt and I will put it straight the way it is, and it's the easiest way I converse to you is when it comes to LGBTQ plus and gay rights and things like that. Do you have a problem with them, or do you have a problem with the fact that the way your religion interprets it? That's what I'm basically
I have an
issue. Is there an
issue
issue with you trying to, mesh, I think would be a good word, mesh your religious beliefs with the understanding of that? Because as a general person, you understand that LGBTQ plus, that's a good thing. It's normal. It's fine. It's the same as the way as all are.
Yeah, I agree that it's a normal thing. I agree that it's something that should be
again, with the bad words, the issue, the problem, the thing with inverted commas, open commas, and all that sort of thing is more so with trying to mesh your understanding that this is fine with your belief that the Muslim religion says that this should be not accepted to act upon it.
Yes, to act upon it. I'm glad you specified that, and I thank you for that. My big problem is simply understanding why. I know it's a sin. I personally, as a human being, accept the LGBTQ plus community because I believe that people should be happy. I don't believe that I should be constantly going around telling people to stop sinning.
I'm going to ask one last question.
Okay.
And then
No, hold on.
Give it to
Hold on, Math Pig. No. Jim's been trying to say something for like 15 minutes. Go ahead, Jim.
I just like to offer my little rational answer to the question, because I know it seems to really bother you about why is homosexuality bad. And
I don't even. You see, that's the thing. I was just about to say before you said that. It's not homosexuality.
I swear I will swim over there and kick your ass.
I swear to fuck. Come
Let him finish, you
me,
Irish bastard.
Somebody mute me.
Okay, so in Second Temple Judaism, starting about the 4th century BCE till around the 2nd century BCE, they got really they had a lot of Hellenistic influences, and that really changed Judaism, and in turn it changed those religions that would develop from Judaism. So you would have Islam and Christianity, and within that culture, you had these priests, two different sides. One side wanted to remain Hellenized and continue to do more, and the other wanted to remain pious and to hold to God's law. And they fought with each other and with the rulers and so on and so forth. And the pious Jews ended up winning out. And ever since then, this idea of Greek culture has always been looked down upon since that time. As Hellenism is bad, and in Hellenism, in Greek culture, things like homosexual or sexuality, or these pederastic relationships, and things like eating pork and things like that were okay. So it's kind of like the religion, it originated as the religion just basically saying, well, you like the color cherry, I'm not going to eat anything flavored cherry because fuck you, that's why.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, I could, from a naturalistic, non-religious, secular standpoint, understand exactly what you're saying. My issue is that well, we're just talking about how communities basically said "fuck you" to each other and made up these these things that we shouldn't be doing.
Like
these things.
Religion, though, religious culture versus religious culture.
Yeah, but I'm coming from a purview of I believe that the Quran is the actual word of God. So I'm not even focused on what the people did to try and make these things right or wrong. I believe that this is word from God.
Is it
Could
a written
that
word
have been
subject?
God's reason?
Hold on, I didn't hear you.
Is it possible for that to have been God's reason, or do you think God wouldn't be that petty?
I don't think God. Well, I would say I don't think God would be that petty, but I don't start to try and come up with a reason. I think this is going to be something that I'm going to be confused about for the rest of my life, because I don't want to speak for God. I don't think that I should speak for God. I think I'm just going to be ultimately for the rest of my life confused about this point.
Not if you believe in eternity.
You'll be confused forever.
Oh no, I believe that after I die, I might get the answer, because I'll be hopefully with God. I don't know.
Here's the thing, man, and I'd like to build on what Jim's already said. Yes, there is demonizing of other peoples and rejection of certain ideas, but not only that, but it crept into the reading frame.
Mm-hmm.
It crept into the way that people look at the text. So yes, does it literally say ABC? Yes, it literally says that. What's the intent of saying it is the better question.
Yep.
What is
Maybe girl
the
cries sometimes when she can't get what she wants, when she can't do this, when she's getting excited, or I'm trying to show her something she doesn't want to learn or whatever, and she cries, you can't understand what she's saying through the this, that, and the other, and use your words. Tell me what you want, we'll move past it.
Right on.
Do you believe that Islam is the only religion that hasn't borrowed from other religions? I mean, even with the given similarities.
Well, if within Islam, we don't believe that we borrowed from Christianity and Judaism and
or any other ancient Near Eastern culture.
We believe that Moses and Jesus and Noah, we believe they were all Muslims. Like, maybe the word wasn't specifically used at the time, but they were following the one true God. And a lot of these other religions are named after people. Christianity after Christ, Judaism after Judah. So all these other religions are named after specific people. Islam, or to be a Muslim, is not named after a specific person. We believe that everything that came before us, and we're even told in the Holy Quran to refer back to the previous books. But if the text in that book does not line up with the Quran, then it should be dismissed, because the people of the book, aka Christians and Jews, have twisted it and made it to be what they wanted it to be, because that was supposed to be the inspired word of God instead of the actual word of God, like the Quran.
They definitely have.
So what would be the point in even reading it and looking for these parallels if all you're going to accept is just the parallel itself and not the context of it?
Because there's more context in the older books rather than the newer books.
Right.
Like,
but
for example, the Genesis story is in the Bible. Very small bit of the Genesis story. So we can refer to the Old Testament, and if it does line up with the newer with the Quran, then
you can accept the rest of it.
No, but like within the way that we think that some people were very prominent people, like I don't believe that Lot had sex with his daughters. I don't believe that at all.
Where do you think the Moabites and the Ammonites came from?
Funny story, my granny at 82, she's now 86. She did not know after the Lot story. She knew that Lot's wife turned to salt, and she was only ever taught for 82 years up until that story that ended. She did not know that Lot's daughters, even that happened in the Bible, as someone who would consider herself Christian and stuff. It was funny when I told her, oh yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Incest in the Bible? She's like, there's no fucking incest in the Bible. I'm like, so Lot's daughters didn't get him drunk, and she had no idea. Like, the literal shock on her face. You know. Sorry, interrupting. Talkative. I've been.
No, you're fine. You're fine. That was cool, man. It's all good. It's all good. So Math Pig, you said you wanted to bring up a topic. What did you want to talk about?
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
No.
It's totally off topic now, and it'll just be weird.
Okay.
You
fair enough.
shut your mouth. It's totally off topic. It'll just be weird now. But
All right. That's cool. That's fine.
To be fair, I've been with WordPig for several hours previously, and yes, he will go weird.
No, at the end of the day, it's only honest.
If-
And B understands where I'm talking from, but it's
If you guys want to short,
in all honesty, from a different reference point, Khalil will also understand as well, because when you're going through something, I wouldn't use the phrase that I will use will be more reference to Khalil, and no disrespect, but an existential crisis moving from atheist to Muslim. You could describe that as an existential crisis. You could, what I'm going through is not that. But there is a change in who I am. There is something going on in my life and something happening with, I'm not fucking seeing right now. People have seen my Twitter. So I'm going through something at the minute, and a change in your life, change is not always good. Change is not always easy. That's definitely something that's fucking through. And you need to do what's best for yourself. At the end of the day, sometimes you'll get kickback, you'll get bollocks. Now I'm just playing with Khalil. But it is when you're going through something in your life at the minute, you need to find out exactly who the fuck you are and who the fuck you want to be with, and who the fuck you want to be is what I mean. I'm 38 in 2 weeks.
I want to be you 2 shots ago.
Pardon? You did what to my ass 2 shots ago?
Not true, Jim. It was two joints ago, Jim. 2 joints ago.
Don't mention shooting or shots to the Irish guy.
I lifted 8 grams of weed before I started streaming earlier today.
Oh my gosh. If you guys want to hear
the after party of the after party, when the Patreon party started, I broke out the wine. So that was about 4 hours ago. So
if you guys want to hear a short funny story,
I don't bring out books, man. I've got the Gideon Bible fucking 3 centimeters from me. I'll bring out the Gideon Bible. We're gonna swing.
You call your penis the Gideon Bible?
I just ordered this like 2 weeks ago, and my wife unpackaged it, right? And she unpackaged it, and I don't know if you guys can tell. I think I have the camera set up right, but the book opens this way, right? Mm-hmm. So my wife told me, and she's not very well.
I read anime, man. You have to read anime from.
Well, the thing is, she said, Justin, your book's wrong. You need to send it back. And I thought at first she was just joking because, she's not a Muslim.
I want to poke a question at that. How do you feel
hold on.
about
Let him finish the story.
No, because it's really relevant to this. Why? How does he feel about the wife calling him Justin and not saying Khalil Allah?
Oh, no, my wife doesn't call me Khalil. No.
And that's an acceptance.
Yeah, I accept anybody. If they want to call me Justin, that's fine. I'm not sticking to, I would prefer being called Khalil, but my wife has known me since we were in kindergarten. So, I don't.
That's just
the point I'm trying to make. Sorry, B, shut up. This is my channel. The point I'm trying to make is your wife accepts your beliefs, even though it's just natural to say Justin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, totally. I had a friend on stream earlier who is he and then them, and I've known them for 4 years, and I must have said she about 6 fucking times. I want to shoot myself in the face. So it's just natural to say some things. So I understand that. That's all the clarification I was looking. B, if you want to continue on there, you go on ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to, buddy. Thank you for giving me permission. I really appreciate you.
Very kind of you.
It's a good thing you're like a little brother to me, or I swear to God, anybody else talk to me like that, I'd fucking kick him out of here. No, I'm kidding. So this is how I equate it. I equate it to, I went by Beth for most of my life. I decided at 8 or 9 years old, I didn't want to be called by my full name anymore. And then, coming on YouTube and everybody calling me B, and I used to be a nickname I had before, and I would get teased about being Aunt B because I would take care of these younger kids. They'd come to me, oh, I cut my finger. I can't go to the doctor. I don't have any insurance. And I'd bandage them up and shit. And they'd come to me for advice and all this. So B just felt really appropriate to me. Now, my brother has trouble calling me that because my entire life since I was 8, he's been calling me Beth. Yeah. So it's hard for him to adapt to that. So, and I don't get offended by it. I don't get offended if somebody calls me she or he or anything, because I don't, you know how I feel. I'm kind of in the gray area anyways, but I don't get offended because people just do things by habit. Most people are not doing it vindictively. Just like there's no Christian, unless they're being sarcastic and snarky, that comes up and says, I hope God blesses you, or can I pray for you? But they're not being mean. They're doing it because they think it's the right thing to do, or it's habit for them, or it's just how they're wired. And I don't get mad at people for being who they are. That's fucking ridiculous. That's like Christians being mad at us for not being Christians. It's stupid. Everybody can be what the fuck you want. Don't be a rapist or a murderer or a thief or any of that shit. And I don't give a fuck. I love everybody until you're a dick. I love everybody. We are who we are, and everybody needs to accept that. And yes, we change, and yes, we evolve. I mean, I've evolved a lot. I was just like the girl, and felt like a pig in lipstick. No offense, Math Pig, and felt like a pig in lipstick most of my life. And now I've come to the point that I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not the she, and I don't feel fully he, and I don't like the they, them. So yes, I will go by B, Bem from now on. No, seriously though. I like it though. It's a good pronouns.
You have become more.
I'll just make up my own.
Years that I've known you, you have been more comfortable in yourself. And if I can say, which as you just announced yourself, I see that you've been becoming more of a, if we can, with fucking stereotypes, and we're not being an asshole because I love you, but yeah, more trousers, more baseball caps. You understand what I'm saying? And you're more comfortable in yourself, and that's
absolutely.
I can see.
Absolutely. I've grown.
Just going to put this out
myself
here.
have grown a lot over the last 10 years. And the last 5 years have been the most impactful for me. And here I am. I started doing this soul searching shit years ago. And by the time I was 45, it started kicking in. And now here I am at 50, and I'm me, and I'm comfortable. And I don't give a fuck if anybody likes it or not. And so, if Khalil wants to go to being a Muslim, fucking let him. If it makes him happy, you do you, man. I don't give a shit. I just want everybody to be happy and live their own truth and love themselves. And if that's part of you loving yourself and living your own truth, then fucking do it.
Yeah, like in all honesty, me and Khalil have had issues. We've had problems, and I don't think any of them has actually boiled down to religion.
Yeah, touche.
Yeah. I'm an asshole, basically. But none of them is boiled down to religion. I've never had a disagreement with them on that. I've never had a disagreement on what people, believe in. Jesus Christ, to put up with Richard for 7 months. He's left, hasn't he? He's left, hasn't he? Yeah, he's gone. He's still here. Oh no, it's Ox.
I like it, Ox. I like it.
No, but
this been beyond.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. The idea with a pigsty is a fucking Irish pub on a Friday night. Come down the back, play some pool, play some darts, disagree, cheat if you fucking need to, and punch me in the fucking face if we disagree. But you promise if you punch me in the face, you will buy the first round of drinks next week. Because I want you to come back. I want you to disagree with me. I don't want an echo chamber. I find enjoyment and pleasure in I was going to say interviewing, but I don't want it to always be that. But with discussing with people, and it's not what you believe, it's why you believe it. It's what's going on in your brain. Stories tell more about a person than fucking labels. Philosophy, I find, and I've been saying this quite recently, Khalil. I'm sure you probably haven't seen it, because why would you watch my channel? I'm full of shit. But philosophy is very, very good from a personal point of view to find out what you feel and being able to express that. So I find philosophy very good to find words and meanings to express where you stand and what you believe in. When it comes to conversation with most people, I'd rather hear a story. I'd rather hear, what happened when you were 15 or 16 and this happened and you knocked down and a car happened, or a death in your family, or this. It gives me an insight more to where you are, rather than a label, rather than a philosophical.
And that's exactly why I do Root and Branch. Thank you very much for wrapping around to that for me, Math Pig.
You're welcome to steal my idea.
And mostly the problem in our community, I've caught myself doing it. I did it to 2 different people. Stool was one of them. I thought Stool was a total piece of shit dick for a long time. And then
most people do. It's a great persona.
And I
To
started
be
listening to what he
fair,
was
I am
saying,
a-
and I
I am a
realized
dick.
he's just like the sarcastic fucking smart ass old uncle that's got to rib everybody. And it's a way he shows that he gives a fuck. If he doesn't like you, he's not going to tease you. You know, that's just how he is. So, and I can appreciate that. And I love Stool for that. And speaking of stories, Khalil, finish the story about the book because you never did get a chance.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, so my wife, she unpackaged. We're moving here soon, and I got this hardback because I got one of those things. I don't know if you've ever seen those Islamic. They look like an X to where you can put your book on, and you sit down, crisscross applesauce, and you read your book.
Right.
So I ordered one of those, and I ordered this kind of like for more decoration. I do want to read out of it, but I also have like 3 other Qurans that I, take notes in. I have like a study Quran that I have. But I ordered this book, and she goes, Justin, you're going to have to send this back because your book's wrong. And I was like, very funny, babe. I know you're not a Muslim. That's hilarious. She goes, no, for real. It's wrong. The front of it is on the back of it. So the book is backwards. You have to send it back. I said, babe, when it's written in Arabic, they read from right to left.
To left.
So it's not wrong. She didn't know that books written in Arabic or other languages that read from right to left start at what she thinks should be the back of the book.
Right, but not if you open it that way. Not if you're reading it that way.
Yeah.
So, literally, not only do the columns read right to left in the sentences, but the whole entire book reads right to left.
Yes, it was anime.
Yes.
You read from what would be referred to in the Western society as the back. Anime is.
But yeah, I thought that was a little funny interaction that I had with her. She's like, "Your book's wrong. You need to send it back." And I didn't even understand. I thought she was just making a little jab at Islam. And
funny stories with partners. I named a star after my partner, who is the mother at the time, who was my partner, the mother of my child, a dual star system. Named the center star after my daughter with her initials, and named the star that orbits it in my constellation. Paid a wee bit extra now for it in my and it was called KDM, and DM being the mother's initials. K standing for kinky, because that's how I meant her. It was Kinky Donna was her name, and then her initial at the end. And her response was, "How long does that last?" And I was like, "What? A star? Longer than you're alive." And the poster, the coordinates, the wooden roses, none of it's on display anywhere in the house, anywhere, even though it was mainly after my daughter, because it's called Kinky Donna as the other star. And yeah, something funny, something similar. Just made me think that. Sorry, Justin. Sorry.
You forgot the J. Titan, you forgot the J in just.
Yes, he did. So Khalil, Iron Charioteer is asking, do you think that Islam might be just passing fancy that in time may go?
What does passing fancy mean?
It means that one day you might change your mind and go in a different direction.
Totally.
Okay.
I have, I'm putting my hand up, but I let Richard go first.
Religion describes the end of religion.
Yep.
In other words, all of this will stop. This is just our present understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it makes sense that, if you guys are saying that, one day we're all going to go up to heaven or whatever, their religions are done.
Right.
You've already hit the final goalpost.
You mean the day of rest?
Well, okay, sure, whatever you want to call it.
Richard, I still hold
the end of days, the apocalypse, whatever, man. Yeah, that.
Richard, I still hold to your argument. I still believe that your argument is sound. And even as a Muslim, I argue with other Muslims about the Sabbath not happening yet.
Right. You see, I want to have a conversation.
Can you bring this up?
Huh?
I'll listen to Matthew, but I want to bring this up.
Oh, no. You really should not let me talk, because I will sound like an asshole, even though I don't want to be an asshole. So I should go with it.
Okay. Khalil, I'm doing an extremely literal translation. I'm adding as few English words as possible. This is the ideas of the original text that turned out to be the Torah. Okay. In the beginning of what concerns you, powerful angels reformed the sky and the planet. The planet was without geographic area distinctions and void of life, and no atmosphere to refract light. So darkness was upon the face of deep space. And powerful angels said, "Let there be refraction of light." And there was light on the earth due to atmosphere. Angels saw the light as good, and angels divided the light from the darkness by terms. That's literally what it says.
Okay.
That is not what I'm being taught by Christians.
Probably not.
Thank you, B, for your comment in the live chat, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I actually have 4 brothers with beards. The other one,
but that one
he
was
usually
about
does
me.
have a beard. He just changes it sometimes.
Oh,
I've
well, this
actually
this has
moved to a
just
cut-
changed everything.
I've moved to a
You're-
cutthroat razor this last month and a half. I've been using just a cutthroat razor and learning how to use it, and it gives
B, I need to know the answer about this one because I was only aware that you had one cool brother.
That's
Oh,
She does have
well,
only
Math
one-
Pig's always been like my little brother since the day I met him. I love that
no,
guy.
No,
And then I
your
have 4 brothers in real life.
I was talking about your real life brothers.
Oh, I have 4.
Right. Do they all have gingers?
No, there's 2 ginger, 2 dark brown, almost black.
So Richard is the only ginger.
No, I said there's 2 gingers.
Okay. I'm just
Richard
checking out.
beard. Richard's a fake ginger.
I'm talking
Are
about
you-
blood. I'm talking about blood.
You're a
I'm talking
fake
about blood
ginger.
relatives.
You're a fake ginger. You should
I'm
be
an
gray.
old
Embrace
real
the gray.
ginger.
Embrace the gray.
I'm an old real ginger.
I have to get this real because this is a first world problem. We must always respect the gingers, and I'm very bad at doing this because let's face it, they're kind of hybrids.
Hurry up, because I'm dying to talk. So hurry up.
Okay, let Richard talk what he was talking about. Go ahead.
But I've noticed this tonight, Robbie. You are very eager to talk, and you're not going to let other people do it. But
No,
hey,
I've been streaming since fucking 6 p.m. UK, and it's now
Don't worry,
20
Stool. I'll
past
kick him out
4
if he starts being a
a.m.
pain
So
in the
I've
butt.
been streaming
Yeah.
for close to 12 hours. I'm antsy as fuck. Come on.
here's
hurry
the
up.
thing. I'm also tired, but you know what?
I'm not
People-
tired.
I'm not interrupting, so there you go. Richard's beard is absolutely awesome, even though it's ginger. I think it's splendid.
That was it?
Okay, anyways, Richard, go ahead.
I'm
Back to
literally
back
I'm
to the
sharing my
actual
love for the
topic.
gingers.
Okay, that's lovely, Stool. Moving on.
Don't
Let's just-
patronize
let's
me,
just-
B.
Let's
I
just,
love you,
let's
man.
just
You know
stop
it.
it with South Park is wrong. Only gingers have souls. But moving on from that. Moving on from that, Genesis 2:21. This I did not make up these words. These are the original words. Ancient, existent, covetous, false gods caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. Now, how that became Yahweh or Jehovah, no clue. That is so freaking wrong, it's not even funny.
Wow.
False gods.
Ancient, from the perspective of those authoring the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
ancient, existent, covetous, false gods, lowercase.
What does that mean, though? What does false gods mean?
It's the
Means
same
it wasn't
story you're going to
God.
find. Same story you're going to find in Hinduism and everywhere else. There
Sure,
is
yeah.
no infinite regress of humankind. There is no infinite regress of God. We came from something that has no righteous claim.
Okay, but what does it mean when it says false gods? Because my understanding is false gods are gods that don't actually exist.
Oh, okay. I think in context here, it's talking about powerful beings. That's why it uses the
Mhm.
word gods, right?
Mhm.
It means
That are
it means
falsely
literally
labeled as God?
powerful being. What?
Falsely labeled as God?
No. They're not our God. That's how they're false.
Okay.
It's not that they're not powerful. The word gods defines meaning powerful beings, plural.
Mhm.
The word gods here. I should write it powerful beings. But I wanted to express it as it was like as closely as I could to what is actually written there. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, if this is true, and I believe it is, there's no infinite regress. Second of all, it goes on to talk about, or right before this, it talks about changing genetics of existent animals.
Well, what do you mean by no infinite regress?
Well, you know the problem of an infinite regress, of course.
Sure, yeah. An infinite series of causes and effects can't be actualized in reality.
And the answer to that presently in concern to our God is what? Outside of space-time.
Well, yeah, that's a weird one. Because I hold the belief that there was a state of affairs to where my God, where Allah existed beyond time, changeless, didn't change at all. And then there was a state of affairs to where he used his necessary attribute of time, stepped into time, which was a change which required time to be able to start creating.
Which is
So
in
now he
itself a
exists in time.
conundrum. That's a logical impossibility.
How?
Because you need time to act. You could never
Yes,
make a decision about something without time.
Yes. So if time is a necessary attribute of that being, then time does exist. He steps into the temporal realm with that time.
How did he step into it? Again, that's a verb. That's an action. You're not answering it.
I don't understand where the confusion is. He used time to do his first action, which was to step into time.
Did he decide to use time?
He decided to use time while he
used time. Did he begin to use time?
He began to use time, yes.
Was that an act?
Yes.
Do acts require time?
Yes.
You're not answering this.
Yes.
That is
yes,
not
it
an
did.
answer.
Okay.
Look, you're kicking the can down the road. You're not answering.
I don't understand how I'm not.
Because no matter what, you're going to come to a first act.
Yes. That first
which
act
had to
used
precede
time. Yes, which used time. So I'm agreeing with you.
But you can't use something that doesn't yet exist.
But time did exist in my worldview. Time.
Then he'd already made it. You're just kicking the can down the street.
No. I said that time is a necessary attribute of God. So time has existed as an attribute for all of eternity. He didn't create it.
Oh, that's better. I did not understand it till you said it that way, but that is better. So time did pre-exist God.
Not pre-exist God. What? No. God has existed for all of eternity. Along with time, because time is an attribute of God, a necessary attribute.
Do you believe, Einstein, that time and matter are intrinsically linked and you cannot separate them?
I'm not well equipped within physics or anything like that. Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah.
We've shown that so profoundly, I think it cannot be argued against.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying
how do you define time?
Time is a passage of a series of events.
So a measurement of change.
Measurements of change, sure.
Okay.
Oh, good grief. Here we go.
Okay, so what I see, I don't know the Quran well enough to argue it well. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I've been a really good boy here, B.
I know you have, sunshine.
Love you, Stool. Thank you for that. What I see being described is that there was a Darwinistic process somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We have samples of that
Darwin's out of date.
Stop it. You know what I mean. A Darwinistic, okay, I'll use all the words. A neosynthetic Darwinistic-like process. That was a lot of words. Like process happened somewhere. What we have here are samples, selections taken out of the process.
Yep.
Which is why in genetics you don't have gaps, but in fossils you do.
Mm-hmm.
If fossilization is a randomized process, and it should be, then you should get what a sporadic result. You should get everything, but not where it necessarily should.
Sure.
Okay, but you should get everything.
Could it be logically possible that there was a state of affairs to where God existed beyond time, stepped into time to create because it was a eternal necessary attribute of God, and then somehow, however he did it, once he created the universe, he linked time with matter. And then all of the information that we can use to observe our universe and how it works comes with time and matter linked together.
Before I answer, can we let Milking Stool pull out a few handfuls of hair? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You know, well, I'm not going to do that, Richard, because you've got more hair on your head than I have. I
got more hair on my head right here.
I know. I'm terribly jealous, and this is why I love your sense of humor and your hair and your sister, because you guys are also. I'm just kissing your asses, and to try and make this do something different.
Don't
because I know where this is going, and
where's it going?
I've been on this planet for a long time, Richard. I know what he's going to say.
Not that long.
And more than you, my friend. And I know what he's doing.
By 3 years.
So, Stool, do I hold to an A theory or B theory of time? If you know what I'm going to say.
Dude, you know, this is what bores me. This is what absolutely bores me. Why can't you just
your prophecy? If you know what I'm going to say,
you bore me. I know damn well that you're a good person. I really know that you. No, I don't know this. You could be an axe murderer for all I know, but
I could be.
I generally think you're a good human being.
Chainsaws are more fashionable at the minute.
I think you're very misguided, and I'm not going to talk about certain things because
I need to be quiet. Mute me.
Richard will absolutely hate me for this, but I'm very observant, and I'm picking up certain signals. There's a certain body language going on. Your right hand, that worries me. Just saying.
Right hand.
I forget his name. The nice guy. Khalil, yeah.
He's always done that.
What's up? What am I doing?
I ever saw him, he was talking like this with his hand.
No. You seem to be cosplaying. You seem to be cosplaying.
Let us get back to the conversation if you're not going to say something serious.
I understand what Stu's trying to say. He's just not saying it correctly, but I understand.
What's wrong with my hand? I don't notice what I'm doing.
I just understand what Stu's saying because I know Stu. Stu's speaking in Stulage.
Translate for us, because I mean I'm waiting for the punchline or the point or something.
There's no punchline. Here's the thing.
He's beating around the bush and he's trying to be fucking nice. And
I am trying my best to be nice.
You want to know something I find annoying? Mexican hat dancing is super annoying. Will you say what you need to say, boss?
I can take it, Stool. Come on, bring it. Let's go.
Just say it, Stool. You're fine. I give you permission. Do it.
I'm so scared of you, B, because you're fucking you'll beat me up.
Dude, would you want me? Can I try and translate for you through Stoolish?
Yeah, go for it.
Khalil Allah is a very intelligent man. Khalil Allah is very into his philosophy and this, that, and the other. And what I think Stool is trying to put across is that at this moment in time, with his, I'm not going to use, I'm going to try and use, with this philosophical going down this, that, and the other. You've got a starting point, you've got an end point. And right now, you can't refute what has been put to you as a Muslim. So because you cannot refute it, to maintain the fact that you are this, that, and you are staunch and you respect and will always stand by the philosophical terms, is now a Muslim, and he's saying it's a passing term, as in if 6 months down the line someone shows you an example of a refute of this, that, and the other, it is possible
Robbie,
that you can change your mind.
Richard
So
raised his hand.
there's something wrong, Stool. Is there something wrong with being honest, open, accepting new information, and changing your mind?
I am just trying to steal, man. Just hold on. But what I said,
Stool,
Stool has not actually pointed out if I'm right or wrong. I'm trying to speak Stoolish. If I got the translation wrong, Stool,
He would have
do
objected
correct
by
me.
now.
To answer Richard's question, no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with accepting new information and
Do you
changing
think you're going to be the same you tomorrow?
I know what you're doing, Richard.
Come on, man. You're making no point.
I know I'm not, and that's kind of what this
Oh,
this
come on,
Why I
Stool, get on
said
with
to
it,
try and make
dude.
the point for Stool. I was trying to speak Stoolish to make the point for him.
He didn't
I do
object. You
apologize
must
if
have
I
done
was wrong.
okay. But if your point is people change, Stool, can we talk about something that mattered?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk
Great.
about something that actually matters.
Yes, people change. Excellent. That's very deep observation, Stool.
I'm still lost about my right hand. What is my right
He
hand
thinks he
doing?
reads body language.
Oh. So what is like somebody that does this with their right hand a lot dishonest or something? Is this like a
No.
psychological thing?
No, I would never say such a thing, but watch the video back.
I see what you're talking about, Stool.
Okay. All right. Richard.
Yeah, boss.
So what I was saying before is that is there a logical contradiction? What is logically impossible about a God existing beyond time, using
Thanks for the
his
reminder.
necessary attribute to step into time to make
No, it's
creation?
not
and then
logically impossible. It's just not demanded by any religion anywhere.
Mhm.
It's not logically impossible. I'm not
No,
saying.
I don't think it's demanded. No, I think that it just makes the most.
Well, then why even
sense to
assert
me.
it? Why assert it if it's not demanded by the religion?
Because it makes the most sense to me on trying to understand what might not have been made that clear.
What conundrum does it solve?
It solves the issue of God changing while outside of time.
Why does God have to be outside of time at all?
Well, what I'm saying is that the general belief between Christianity and a lot of Muslims is that God exists transcendent of space, time, and matter,
Right.
and creates all these things, but yet is
Creates what?
changeless.
Creates what?
Everything that exists.
Everything that exists. Are you sure that's claimed by the Quran? Because it's not.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's claimed by practitioners of the religion and their reading frame, not the words. No such claim is made in any ancient religion. None. Only the Abrahamic even profess it.
I'm gonna look up a verse, and then we can take that back to the Arabic.
Now there's different sections of the belief system Islam. And if you wouldn't mind, please stick to only the Quran.
Okay.
Because I don't know anything at all about what other people said about other stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to let you kids have fun with that because that's not
Love
a
you,
topic
Matthew.
that I would know about. So I will leave you to it. B, thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely,
Richard,
buddy. Anytime.
beard's looking a good color now. I'm glad that you found a nice dye that suits it.
You're always,
Worked out well.
yeah, this is like really close to my actual color.
It really
you're,
is.
You're always my brother. You're always welcome in my house.
I do apologize if I came across aggressive earlier. I did not try to make with the translation thing. I was just making a difference of translation point rather than anything ignorant. I do apologize.
No, you did a good job then. It was before when you messed up.
Oh, well, you're an asshole anyway, so go fuck yourself. Right?
Love you too, Matthew.
Thank you. Still have fun. Khalil, always good to have a conversation. If you're up for it, man, you know, you're more than welcome to come on some night. We can go for an hour and a half or whatever. We can have a conversation. I'd be genuinely open to that. You know,
Okay.
you know, as I say, all our disagreements are because we're assholes.
Well, how about let's discuss something that we can agree upon? How about I'm sure that a lot of your listeners and your viewers are atheists who have a lot of discussions with Christians more than
I'm about 20% Christian, 25% Christian, which I'm quite proud of, which is quite nice.
Okay. So what if I come on and have a discussion with you about the incoherency of, like, let's say, the incarnation of the Trinity?
Provided that we use only words that don't stretch more than 7 letters long.
Here's a wacky idea. Talk about football or real life things.
Oh, yeah, go Italy. Go Italy. You know?
Stop
yeah,
talking about,
I think
stop
that
talking about religion.
I think that we could agree.
Don't make me start picking apart.
I'd be desperately honest, Khalil.
I'll
don't get me wrong. I have been in the community since 2018. I've watched a lot of philosophical debates, and I understand the ideas behind certain things. But I have a very bad, what would be the word? Recall of. Let's use this fancy word to describe a label because it's totally against me to use labels, so to speak. It's not something that sticks. So if you say to me, "What's a materialist? Are you a materialist?" I'll turn around to you and go,
yeah, that's fine. No. We can. I'll use.
We can keep it down. I don't want to put
terms.
across. I'm fucking stupid because I don't think I am.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. What I will do is give my argument against the belief in the Trinity on something that any layperson watching the show.
You're against the Trinity. I agree. We win.
Yes. Yes. So we could talk about the Trinity, or we could talk about the incarnation of Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ.
The way I try to do things on the channel is I refer to them rather than debates. I refer to them as formal discussions. We pick a topic. You make an opening statement. I make an opening statement. I don't know, this, that, and the other. We have an hour where we talk about it. We're different people. Each other takes turns in leading the conversation.
Oh, so it's just an informal debate. Okay.
Yeah, I call them formal discussions. I don't.
I was going to say
yes. I like formal.
Yeah, that's what I prefer. I prefer that rather than a timed rebuttal, counter rebuttal, all that jazz. Let's just have a conversation.
Pick a topic. Yes. You make a 15-minute. You make a 5-minute statement and go, "This is what the idea is about from my point of view." I go, "This is what my idea about it is from my point of view," and then we talk about it for an hour. Far more productive.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Just reach out to me. You have me on. I'll get on Twitter more often. I know you have me on
no, I reach out to something else because I think our last Twitter interaction was awful. So we'll ignore that and we'll move to a different platform and we'll pretend that one didn't happen. It's like, yeah, man, WhatsApp me. Yeah.
All righty.
As I say, man, lots of love. Always building bridges as best we can. I'm honest. I'll say what I feel in a minute. And Richard, again, loving the beard. Going well. Nice in the day. Happy 42nd birthday, B. Talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Love you.
You're not 42.
Oh, Stu, I'm comedy relief.
What the fuck would you
fuckers do without me? You'd be bored without me.
It was so 8 years ago. Get out of here. Go sleep.
We'll suffer through.
Okay, so Big Zebra said, ask Richard about the false gods. Could they be other beings created by God, such as angels?
If I selected only this part of the text to pick apart, yes, it could. If I considered all of the work, no freaking way. Here's why. It goes into great detail about these other kind, how they were in charge of us, how we were their slaves, how they were doing controlled experiments, birthing cycles of only strictly males, obviously to avoid reproduction of something you don't necessarily want. Judging them at 3-year-old, which is about when you can judge how smart or whatever a human being is. You can figure out what they are by the time they're 3. That we wait till about then now. And then murdering all of one batch and only one survives by freak accident. So it goes into great detail about how they're so very different from us, why they were in charge, how we came to be. So, yeah, from this one phrase, yes. From all of it, no way.
Okay. So I found Surah Al-An'am, verse 101 and 102. If we look at 102 specifically, it says, "That is Allah, your Lord. There is no God but He, the creator of everything. Therefore, worship in Him, for He is the guardian over all things."
Great. Everything where?
What do you mean everything where? Everything would be
where?
anything that exists.
Okay, is that an assumption or can you show that?
I think it's implied.
No, it's an assumption. That's what you mean by implied. Show me from the words that it means literally the cosmos.
I mean, I couldn't do that. I couldn't show you that.
Because it's not there.
Okay, I think that's being hyper skeptical, but
I am hyper skeptical. Absolutely. But is this book about what you need to know from your perspective in your present situation? Or is this a book about the entirety of the universe? Read the next line.
well, I think this is a book for me, for anybody that wants to pick it up and read it.
Okay.
It's not
so
like it's not like the Bible.
Why would it be written for someone else's perspective?
What do you mean from someone else's perspective?
Why is it not talking about the Earth from the view of a galaxy in Pleiades?
No,
It's not universal. It's us here now.
So this book was from the perspective of Allah,
Right.
just Allah's words handed down to the prophet himself.
Yes, I get that. I agree with that. I confirm that.
Okay.
For whom?
For mankind
Very good. Where is mankind?
on this
What
planet.
can they see? Why talk about things at all that we cannot affect, that cannot affect us? Why would that be a topic?
I don't understand where you're getting here.
There is no point in that meaning the entire cosmos. There is every reason for it to mean the local universe. I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to show definitionally that it is demanded that this mean the cosmos anywhere.
I think it's
any ancient religion. You're not going to be able to show it.
I think it's semantics. If I tell my son to pick up everything off the floor, is he going to try and uproot the carpet?
Okay.
It's
semantics. I see
semantics.
your point. I see your point. You can say I'm being hyper literal. That's fine. What I'm actually expressing is Occam's razor here. Why are we assuming more than is demanded?
Do you believe that Occam's razor is the best thing to hold in all situations?
I think it's a tool that makes sense in many situations.
Okay. So it not necessarily has to be the only tool that you use in situations.
No, of course not. You also have context. You have is there a continuous context? Does it make sense in reality? Does it make novel predictions? Are those predictions coming true? There's lots of measuring devices, but I see no reason to assume more than is demanded by definition and etymology of any given word. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah, I see that text and I see him creating everything that exists other than
you've
himself.
been told to think about it that way.
Hi, Max.
Hey.
No,
Thanks for joining, buddy.
I've read this book for myself. I haven't had anybody tell me to believe certain things certain ways.
You're serious?
I've
How
noticed.
can you possibly say that?
Because
I've noticed whilst you've been talking, you keep clutching onto that book physically, and I've actually
Oh my
seen
God,
you.
you're not a psychologist. Knock it off.
Okay, I'm
book's
just
been
making a
sitting over
comment.
What does that have to do with
see
the
the book right
topic?
here?
Come on,
It's
stay
All
on
been
right.
topic.
sitting over here the whole
All
time,
right,
Bob.
whatever.
Jeez, man.
Wait. I want to know, Stool. I want to know. I'm
I think
gonna
he's
get
an
serious about this.
Islamophobe.
But first of all, I want to be honest. I think you're brilliant. Second of all, I think you're bored as hell. Third of all,
I'm
if you don't like the conversation, leave. Fourth of all, are you a body language expert? Because I don't think you are.
You
There's
seem
so
a bit
much wrong with what you're doing, and I think it's only because you're bored. If we're talking about theory that doesn't matter to you, join another time.
all
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
Okay.
and I warned you.
My sister
I
loves you.
warned
You're
you,
brilliant.
Stool.
You're hilarious. This is not your fort.
I warned you still when you came on here, it was going to be about this. So, I mean, if you want
Yeah,
to stay and stick with
well,
the topic and you want to debate, that's fine. Just stick with the topic. That's all I'm asking. Okay.
Right.
I'd
I've said
appreciate
very little during this thing, and whatever. I take your points. Maybe I'm what I'm saying
Tell
comes
me, if
across
you're a
as
body
being
language expert,
dick.
what does it mean when a gentleman grabs hold of his jacket and tugs down on the collar with both sides with it unbuttoned? What does that mean?
It means he needs to urinate on the right-hand side of
No,
a
it
horseless
means
carriage.
look at the silk, the genuine Italian silk. I am of
Yes.
higher status than you. You
Yes.
will conform. That's what it means.
It's true.
You know, you're being very shouty, so I'm
Very
out. All
accurate.
right.
You're being annoying.
It's
Yeah.
fine. Just
Hi,
let him
Mac.
go. I just let him go. It's fine. I
Mac,
mean, you know, I don't
would,
care. You,
Mac would
I'm
join
not-
in the conversation.
let me just explain. None of us up here are against a debate. What we are against is when people are talking about serious stuff that means a lot to them, and someone's bullshitting in the middle of it. It's kind of disrespectful.
Look, I mean, I
So
kind
now,
of get
if
where
Phil
he's
wants
coming
to come
from.
back
To
and he
him,
wants to get in the
to him, this all sounds like bull crap. I get it.
Yeah,
I
get
understand
it.
that.
That's
And
fine.
I don't agree with
I
all
was
of
an
it, but I'm
atheist.
okay with the conversation. So carry on.
I was an atheist. I get it. That to the atheist ears, this sounds like a bunch of stupid crap,
Yep.
and none of it matters. I get
Absolutely.
I find it interesting though, so I'll listen. Just because if you were spewing Christian shit, you guys wouldn't even be on here. I'm not going to listen.
It's not even about that.
I'm just being
It's
honest.
more
I've heard
philosophical
that.
than anything.
I've heard that all my life. I have no interest in
Yeah.
hearing any of that again.
Yeah.
Now you
And-
guys
and-
are saying different stuff and discussing different things in different ways.
The Christians
Now I'm
are fundamentally flawed in the reading of the text when they think the promises and demands of the text are to them as a casual reader, where it makes promises that can't be to anyone but Christ, in which case the reading of the text is intended for the Christ, not for the Christian. This is
Yes,
why
you're-
they fail.
Sorry. I just wanted to point out real quick that yes, you're right, Maya. We don't have just atheists in the chat. You are in there. Maya is not an atheist. She has her own beliefs.
Amen.
So yeah, you're right. I just wanted to say that. I do have one awesome religious person that comes to all my streams, and that would be Maya. She's always there. And until recently, I didn't even know she was not an atheist. I had no idea.
I got to
She
tell you,
would
I
never
wish
discuss it.
Marty would get off of Knox channel and come over to yours.
Oh, I'd love to have Marty on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to shoot her a link right now. Go ahead. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Carry on the conversation.
Okay,
Matt,
so
jump in whenever you feel
I'm not
ready.
saying it's logically impossible. The solution you proposed for the time problem and the existence of God outside of space-time matter. I'm not saying that's logically impossible, although I think it has problems. Okay?
Okay.
But what I will say is I think it's unnecessary and it's literally not being claimed anywhere. That God did make all of the universe. And it only refers and specifically talks about the aspects of our very local universe and goes into great detail about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I can see where you're coming from there. I read it as everything. When I hear everything, like I was saying before, I don't think that anybody told me. You said this is what you've been told to believe. I'm simply reading the the
That's not what I said.
translation for English. Okay,
That's
what
not
did you
what I
say?
said. I didn't say told to believe. I didn't say that. No, I don't think anyone's exercising mind control on you. They didn't falsely make you invest in things that you didn't accept.
Mhm.
And then because of that investment, took advantage of your commitment and then shamed you for having a commitment in something that was stupid and then used that. It's not a cult. Okay. I'm not saying it is.
Mhm.
What I did say is you were taught from the time you were a child how to think in Abrahamic religion practice, normalcy, tradition, on how to read that story. And you can't help it.
Okay. Well, I'll do some further research and try and figure out what the exact words are in Arabic and what those words actually mean. It may actually mean you may be able to, like you've done with the Bible, break it down and it says something localized rather than the cosmos itself. But I would like to ask you a question about the way that you understand what you have up here. You're going through, I've gone through hours of discussion with you about your beliefs on this. Now we get back to a certain point to where we have these beings, right? That is Pharaoh, and we have Adam, which is the slave creation.
Right. In that story, not called Adam, but yes.
Yes. In that story, it's not called Adam. I thought he was red face.
Well, Adam is red face, but you referred to Pharaoh, which means you should be using the word Moses.
Moses. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So within that within that purview, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you stated that these are other just very powerful beings. Now, these aren't necessarily eternal beings of any sort, so they could have had some type of creation or come from somewhere, and then we're almost in another infinite regress of contingent things creating contingent things. Do we have an answer?
We could be, except for a naturalistic process that started it, something like, I'm not saying it is, something like a Darwinistic type process. Look, the problem with abiogenesis is the ancient atmosphere. It's the ancient atmosphere of this planet. You see what I'm going with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
What if it wasn't on this planet?
Well, that's fine.
Direct translation says it wasn't this planet.
As long as we can agree that whatever this Darwinistic, whatever we want to call this, it's a process of change. It's a series of cause and effects that lead from one existence to the next existence to the next existence. All
we all different, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Amen,
Nice.
sister.
So how is that not another infinite regress? To which I think we can agree that infinite regresses are not actualized in reality.
I see that you're locked in Big Bang, right?
Not Big Bang, no.
Well,
I'm simply just stating that if these beings created these slaves and accidentally created Adam, where did these beings come from? We don't know. They could have been created by other beings or come from other beings and maybe some naturalistic method of some sort. So do we keep going back? Because I mean, if it's just a naturalistic, one thing comes from another, and we've already dismissed that something cannot. We've already dismissed that something can come from nothing. Then it came from something. Is there eventually, as we go back, some type of necessary, self-sufficient, uncaused, uncreated existence?
Yeah, the universe, the cosmos itself. Look, just because you get a cut on your arm doesn't mean your whole body's cut.
Sure, yeah.
We see we see a razor slice of the cosmos.
Okay.
From this position, we see that razor slice expanding. It is such a ridiculously small of the total portion, small proportion or percentage of the total of the cosmos. It's literally insane to say we see this expanding. Everything's expanding. It's just plain stupid and proud.
Okay. So that's not the problem that I have. That do you believe that for as long as the universe or the cosmos have existed, has there been time, space, and matter?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So now we're still in an infinite regress of time, space, and matter.
No, what we're at is how did matter come to be? No theory. I got no freaking clue, and I can't find an answer, and neither can anyone else.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm not better than they are, and I'm no worse.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
I just wanted to try and clear that up.
We see pockets of space changing. That's what
Mhm.
we actually see.
Yes, I agree.
That does not indicate that the cosmos itself did everything that the pocket is doing any more that if you get a razor cut on your arm, your entire body is cut with a razor.
Yes, and that's why I was saying before that using that same exact logic, there's nothing saying that at some point in time, this God that I believe in had conjoined time and matter together and then created the universe, and now we have time and matter always existing. As far as we can observe and tell, time and matter and space work congruently together.
Yeah, as far as I can understand from the best minds who are better than mine by far, these things are intrinsically joined. They are conjoined. They have no choice.
Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to get your answer on that because, you know, going back before these beings, there's not really much of a story that I've heard from you of what happened before these beings that we call Pharaoh.
Chemistry.
I think I can maybe show some new perspective on this. Just a little bit of a different challenge there. Khalil, nice to talk to you, man. I'm new to all this. Been chatting with Richard for a few weeks, but other than that,
Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, he just started. That's why I let him in. I figured this is some comic relief.
Me and
Yeah,
Richard have
because
had
Richard's
very
so, like,
long discussions.
You better pay attention. I'm going to go down this road. You better keep up.
So Mac, when I
Right,
say Pharaoh and I say Moses and Richard says, do you understand what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, cool.
I've been
I'm excited.
attempting to understand Richard's worldview pretty fiercely for over a month now. I guess it's been a couple months now, huh, Richard? But
I was about that close.
Yeah, I also have like a very classic kind of American waspy Christian background, so I understand that language really well too. And I live in a fairly multicultural city, so and actually there's a big Arabic population around here too. So I'm exposed to a lot of Muslim and Islam ideas. But I wanted to take things back. I've been listening to this conversation. I had it on irresponsibly as I drove home as well, and but I've been listening to the whole thing and. When you touched on Khalil, when you described Allah as having the attribute or having one of his attributes be time, I think you could probably profit by examining that a little more closely. I think that there's I think, unless I misunderstand it, I think there's a logical contradiction implied there, and I think Richard was trying to elucidate on that a little bit, But the idea is that unless you defer to a being that's outside of space and time, which is not, it doesn't generate anything useful to talk about if that's what you're talking about. Something that's outside of our apprehendable existence isn't something that's
for semantical reasons. I would use the word beyond, not outside. But I get what you're saying.
I'd be interested in knowing the distinction there, but let's go with that. Let's go beyond. And but if you describe time as an aspect of Allah, as if it's a feature like a limb or a size or a color or something like that, then you're beginning, at least you're approaching, it seems to me, to equate God with the universe, which is. That's a favorite. Atheists would grin at that. That's a favorite thing. Like, okay, then why don't we just call it the universe? It's almost like a cop out at that point. What I find really intriguing, one of the various things I find intriguing about Richard's worldview is that his understanding of deity is tangible, is realistic,
Instead of
is
ideals.
atheistic even. Yeah, instead of idealistic. Exactly. Yeah. So I think it'd be productive to try to reconcile those two ideas. You know?
Sure, Richard has been called an atheist before by a couple people.
Atheist,
I think it's not unfair.
He's heretical. He's all kinds of things.
I don't think. I think Richard. I think the word heretical
Nuts.
is farthest from Richard's caring. That he could give two shits whether somebody calls
when
him
they say
heretical
he's a
or
heretic, he goes, "Yes, I am, according to you."
Thank you.
Thank you for telling me I'm nothing like you guys. Right.
I've now talked to
happy
enough
hear
people. I have a working definition in real terms in lexicon for what heretic means. A heretic is a guy that you went to church with for 20 years and sat beside, and then you talked to him too long.
Then you realize who he really is what you're saying.
Now you guys agreed for 20 plus years, whatever. But you talked too
And
long.
then you had a good
And you found a
conversation, and now you
difference.
don't like the motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to, I'd be glad to dive into, and I think I understand where Richard was going and where you might be seeing that he's going, as in Allah exists beyond beyond time. Time is an attribute of Allah. So before he activates this attribute of time, a change must be made for him to choose to activate time, which would require time. No, that wouldn't be the contradiction.
No, that's the conundrum you have a plausible solution for. My whole point in having said all of that is all ideals are outside of time. They are timeless. They are unchanging. They are the description of Allah. They are forgiveness. They are wisdom. They are everything that you know of Allah is best describing a set of ideals, not a being. The mistake in the Abrahamic is to confuse God, the ideals, and as having being, and the reason they're confused is that there are beings who obey the ideals and are thereby the hand of God. So they've confused the being performing God and God itself. This also justifies the Trinity. There is no logical problem of the Trinity. It's a logical problem of the practitioner's view of the Trinity, giving personage to something that doesn't have personage.
I can agree with you on that. I can agree that outside of the typical Christian's view of the Trinity itself, that there wouldn't be a logical problem because everything that they believe that it says isn't actually saying what they think it is.
Right. If I say, okay, the triangle Trinity problem, right?
Yeah,
God in the middle, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, right?
Yeah, and then there
is
all of them exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
And being versus exact, all those problems. It's not like I got to introduce you to Bongo. He taught you. Okay. Now take that central hub, God, make it a set of ideals. Poof, all the problems go away. Now find me a definition of God that is not a set of ideals.
A definition of God that is not a set of ideals.
Not a being performing God who has an other definition. Find me a definition of God that is not a set of ideals.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I think that we just have ways to describe God. I mean,
how's he described?
Many different ways. Allah has 99 names, so
Give
he's
me
described
the 99 names of Allah.
Oh, boy,
find me one that's temporal.
That might take a while.
Find me one description that's physical and temporal. Go ahead. Because you'll be then talking about the prophet and not Allah.
Big. They call him big. Right?
Where in the text does it say God is big?
Isn't that what Allahu Akbar means?
No,
No,
No.
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 Sorry.
God is the greatest.
The greatest? But
Yep.
doesn't it imply size? Like
No.
with the greatest? No, it means value.
No, it's more like Muhammad Ali, the greatest.
Yeah. It's value, not stature.
It's
Right.
value.
Allah is the goat. Allah is like Tom. No, I'm not going to say that. Nope. Okay, so you said find something that is temporal.
Where by definition and within context, it's literally temporal and physical. So for what I understand, that can't be there. It's going to have to be expressive if it uses something physical. Because Allah is love, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, compassion, empathy, caregiving. I mean, all of these things. A creator, absolutely. But tell me, just where in the scientific process even is there no intuition in order to form a hypothesis? Every creation starts out as an idea. Everything.
Right.
There is no first physical as a creator, as a creation. There isn't one.
The light.
How does that word light being used there? Read it for me.
No, I'm just looking at the 99 names. The light, the illuminator. Wouldn't that be photons?
What does illuminator mean? Illuminator of what? Like photons? It produces photons? Is that what it means?
I think. Well, yeah. I don't think that's actually what it means, but I'm just looking at something that could possibly be temporal.
Well, let's just go with that one. Is it referring to producing photons?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, what does it mean by light then? Light versus what and why?
Well, I don't think it would be versus. I mean, how we understand things, we need things to contrast. So for good, we need bad. For light, we need dark. For sweet, we need sour. I don't know.
Sure, fine. No, that's good.
But yeah, so the light, I would just say, is the goodness. Typically, we see the light as safeness.
If we were nocturnal animals, it'd be written the other way around. Light would be something that blinds you and you don't like, and darkness would be what you enjoy.
Sure.
And the darkness would be correct. But the whole point is being able to see. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's
I don't see anything in here that's temporal.
What's that?
I said I don't see anything in here that is temporal. I mean, I see like infallible teacher, the guide, forbearing the patient, the illuminator, the enricher, the withholder. I don't see anything in here that you could actually say is temporal.
Right. And there shouldn't be.
But what's the problem?
God's timeless. Allah must be timeless. Just like
I don't think something can be timeless and change.
Right. It must be unchanging and timeless. That's correct.
But if Allah is the universe changes.
I don't think God or Allah is the universe. I don't think that at all. I don't think there's anywhere that's suggested. I think deism is stupid.
Okay. So what are you saying God is then?
A set of ideals that living beings hold as the highest and is God.
Okay. And that's what worship is to hold something in the highest regard.
Literally.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That I mean that makes sense.
even if I forgave and said what these stories tell is that the creator of us has a righteous claim, which they say the creator of all things of us does not have a righteous claim. And yes, that's universal to the point you can see the birthing of Brahma, and then that God ignored completely in Hinduism.
Okay.
I mean, completely ignored, gets no respect at all as the creator of the creator.
Yeah.
Go figure on that one, right? That is to say, it does not have a righteous claim. It has nothing to do with it. You can ignore this God. Okay? Or in the story of Moses, talking about the inventing of Moses and why he was so horribly different and why that whole batch had to be killed and why he was put in charge of an entire civilization that wasn't his. When he came from a slave. I mean, think about that, practicalities and implications of that for 3 seconds. And you should go, no freaking way. What if it was just that cool? What if it was cool?
I mean,
like,
it makes sense, Richard. I totally, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. It makes logical sense.
Okay,
it does.
so
And that's why I almost.
It is true that ideals exist. It is true that ideals are timeless. It is true that there are repercussions of ideals. It is true that we base our emotions on our value systems of our personal ideals. That is all already true.
Sure, I can concede to that.
Okay, so then there is no person who does not know God.
In that sense, no, everyone would know God.
Of course. Just like it claims.
Yeah, so like I said, I see your logic and it makes sense. It really does make sense, and that's why I said, you know, I almost completely conformed to whatever you call it. we called it Madsonism, but I don't think you want to put a label on it.
I'm calling it religion is for the hero.
You're muted, B.
You're muted, B.
That is not fair to call it Madsonism because there's like a whole bunch of us that are not on board with what he's saying.
Not at all.
No. See, when you use our last name, that's like the entire family. You know what I mean? That's why I've never gotten rid of it. I don't even like it because it's my father's name, but I keep it because it means what it means to my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and everybody. But anyways, carry on. Find a different word, damn it.
So I'm not staying to it because it is logical. I'm not staying to it because it holds to Occam's razor. I'm not staying to it because it makes sense in physics. I'm not staying to it because it's definitionally correct. I'm not staying to it because it is consistent within its own coherent set of reading frame. I'm adhering to it because it follows all that and more.
Yeah, see, the part that I was on board for and then later wasn't quite on board with was the translation method itself of how to take the words and then find each word in its original language and trying to figure out what that word means, because there's 15 different definitions in the original language, like that you could say for that word.
Screen there? You see what I've already got on the screen there?
Yes.
This is an answer to what you just said.
Well, I'm talking about the paper that you sent me that had the word.
That's a small sampling.
What do you mean?
That is no example of the overall context demanded by the entirety of the work, which is a lot longer than 2 pages.
Yes, I understand that. And what the small sampling that I saw was that we have this text in English straight out of the Bible, word for word. Then we have a whole bunch of this word. This is what it is in Greek or Hebrew. This is what the definition of that word is. And there could have been 15 different definitions for that Greek or Hebrew word. And then it whatever made sense to you is the word that you picked out of those possible 15 words.
Okay. I can see saying that it's not unfair for you to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can. Hold on a sec. Hold on. Let me give you an example of why you don't have a choice. Why I don't have a choice. Okay.
Okay.
If, when, why are very different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But could be one, I'm not kidding you, one Hebrew word. Okay. And you go, well, how do I know what to choose? Let me show you. If, when, why, you, your wife, your child, move, hold still, drive, carry forward, grocery, food, sustenance.
You're explaining a trip to the grocery store with me and my family.
Against, you don't have a choice.
Yeah,
you don't have a choice by the time you get to the end of the sentence. From,
I understand that, but that's
away from. I can do this all day. You have no choice.
So what I'm talking about is before you get to that point. So within that paper, you had this is what the Bible states verbatim in English. This is each word in the Bible. This is each word translated into its original language. Here are the definitions for each word. And then after that, you gave what looked like a cobble's knot worth of English words put together. And then it said in English, this is what it would look like.
Sure.
So I'm talking about before the mess of English words put together to where you don't have a choice but to have that. This is what it would look like in modern English language.
Okay, let's
do
the one I got on the screen.
Problem.
Let's do the one we got on the screen right now.
Okay.
Literally, these are the meanings in etymology. Where the etymology exists, and it's not a root word, the meaning, the root of the word comes first, then dash, okay? And then the final meaning of it, and then comma. Okay, that's the way I structured this. Because I don't see anyone doing this anywhere. I literally just had to make something up as to how to structure it. This is what it literally reads. I'll bet you cannot tell me this verse from the Bible. I'll bet you can't. Glisten, press out oil midday, wrought, house in box, mother measure, accomplish, upward above exceeding, ascend, show offering, wide entrance, house in box, appoint, side beside, lowly and placed nether parts, second another multiple of, three third part wrought. That's literally what the Hebrew says. What the hell is that? There's no way to arrange this in two ways and make it make sense. There's no two ways.
Hold the women above in the house of the duplex on the third story of the wrought iron fence. Yes, that's what I got out of it.
You forgot
what story? Parts. What story is that part, Mac? Tell me that part in the Bible. What is that?
Honestly, I thought it was talking about the so-called embarrassment of Noah, but that was just because of the nether parts reference.
Richard, I can't find your paper anymore.
That's okay. We'll link it to you again if you care. It's no problem. This is a description of the window in the ark.
Weird.
This came out as put one window in the top. It is so much more complicated than that. It's insane to write it, make it only 1 meter and only give one measurement, and make it in the top floor It doesn't even make sense for it to come out that way.
Mm-hmm.
And really, without a lot of presupposition, it can't come out that way.
Yeah, I was going to share screen and look at your paper and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Because, I mean, right here is already after you've gone through all of the steps that I have contentions with. Right. And this is the finished product. And I have problems before you get to this point.
B, how much time do we have?
Much as you want, man. I don't care. I'm
okay.
Good.
All right.
I mean, I got to get to bed in 5 minutes, but you're fine. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. And when I get done, you guys can talk in the background all night if you want. I don't care.
Right on. Okay. Let me do this for you.
Give me one example because I have about 8 minutes before I have to leave.
One example of what?
Well, I mean, I didn't know if you were going to
context.
Yeah, like I don't know, whatever you're going to try and do. I'll hang out for whatever you're trying to do. But I have to work tomorrow. It's 12:30 a.m. and I do have to get to work.
Okay, so the mistake they made was taking shining work as meaning a window. Mm-hmm. The literal translation is glisten, press out midday oil. They took that as meaning window. Mm-hmm. But what it's talking about is the whole container. The context here is the whole container. A shining work and container. And then it qualifies it to house in. And that's not a window. See? Shining. Mm-hmm. Shining as in enlightening. Like the midday. Work. Mm-hmm. House to box in or house to be boxed into. You can't make that a window. A window is not a box that you're housed in.
With it right there, yes. So let's just, for example, just take the word shining, right? Uh-huh. And the shining was one of the many possible definitions of this Hebrew word.
No, it all means shining. To glisten is an aspect of shining. To press out oil, as in to press out oil for burning, is shining. Midday is shining. Shining is the best collective word for all of those ideas.
Shining just means more than the one word does in English.
Right.
Right.
But they not only give you all of the base words and all of the etymology of all those words till you reach a root word, they also give you a summary of the idea.
So it's a glass guard shack in front of the door to heaven? I'm confused. I don't know.
No, it means new heaven.
Oh. Okay, rock on.
A shining work and container to house in. If you read the whole thing, it would be clear to you too.
Yeah, that's a reference. Objection.
That's a reference to all of the home of God. That's what that means.
The objection I have is when I was looking at the paper that I can't access right now. It says attachment unavailable. But
I have the same paper. It's all right.
Yeah. So with that paper, if you're looking in there, there's certain words that Richard has taken out, so it gives you the English, the English. Right out of the KJV, and then that is each word is said. This is what the word or the root word in Aramaic, Hebrew, or Greek, and then there's definitions for that word, and some of those definitions that I read were things that are completely opposite of each other. So and I'm not saying I'm not saying that Richard is doing that,
right?
He's simply stating that
no, they are actually opposite meanings. You're right. They have opposite meanings,
which means that you can pick and choose what you want to
plug
in.
I'm telling you, you can't. Look, go toward, car, bicycle, 20 miles. Do you think it's talking about you must ride a bicycle 20 miles away from your target?
Huh.
You can't read it that way. It would make absolutely. It's because the way that they come in and the sentence has to be coherent. You literally cannot do what you're saying is possible to do. You can't. Maybe for 3 words in a row, maybe 5, but you're not going to get to the end of the sentence before you have no choice.
Okay.
I have a question real quick, Richard. Robert X said, but if that was the meaning, then why not put it into a coherent sentence?
Exactly, to leave you freedom.
So
You are
I'm
not
looking
being
here.
oppressed by facts. You are being given some free choice as to what you believe for now. And then comes the forced inoculation at the end of the story, and you will have no choice. You'll either be A, rejecting it and actually really insane for rejecting the truth that is right in front of your face, which I think only a very, very, very tiny portion of the population will. Probably less than a 1 in 264,000, and I didn't pull that number out of my butt. That's in the text. You'll probably be a 1 in literally 264,000 people that are crazy enough to reject it, which means almost everyone ends up in heaven. Or you'll just accept what's in front of you and you'll be okay. But the forced inoculation does come at the end of the story. For now, you have free choice.
So let's just look at this. It's the very first one in your paper, 1 Samuel 16:23. States, and it came to pass when the evil spirits of God was upon Saul that David took a harp, played with his hand, so Saul was refreshed as was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. Key words from this verse defined. So the first word that we're looking at is the word pass. So we're looking at Strong's exhaustive concordance. The word is abar or albar, a prime root word meaning to cross over, used very widely for any translation, literally a figurative, transitional, or introductory, intentional, or causal, specifically to cover.
Yep. Junk shopping.
Where are we at?
Shoot.
Khalil.
Junk shopping. Still
Where are we at in the text?
Kill your camera.
Oh, Khalil's frozen.
Let me try to kick him and bring him back.
Does anyone remember what part of the text he said? I'm trying to bring it up for everybody.
It's the beginning of the David and Goliath story. It's the 1 Samuel.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
David playing with his hands and playing his heart.
I'll bring him back up as soon as he's straightened out there. Hold on.
I think it's 1 Samuel.
Oh, I just didn't know what part of the paper he looked to. You've straightened it out for me. I know the paper.
Cool. Of course.
Of course. Really? It's almost like you wrote it or something.
Gosh, if I don't know this.
Good night, Zebra.
Night, Zebra. Thanks for coming, buddy. Always appreciate you. I don't know. I'm just in the habit of calling him Zebra. I found out his name and I still keep calling him Zebra because it's just been he's been Zebra for like 2 years and I found out like 3 months ago what his name was or something.
Wait, he has an actual name?
Well, I mean, that's what his mother and father assumed. I mean, they gave it to him. I don't know. It might not be his actual name. It might be Stephen.
You know, I've never felt like I was
Stephanie. I don't know.
You know,
even zebras have names.
I've always felt like I wasn't a Richard. I don't know why Mom gave me that one.
That's okay. I never felt like an Elizabeth. I get it. Yes, people, that's my real name. It sucks.
That is awfully pretentious, isn't it?
God damn, dude. Like what am I supposed to be? Like some girly princess with like long flowing blonde hair and lipstick and in a dress and high heels? Like
totally.
Fuck some me. People pictured you that way.
That's like putting ox in a bikini. You just don't do these things.
Or Robbie. Putting Robbie in a bikini. Wait a minute.
God, no, let's see me you think of it again. Oh, I saw too much. I saw way too much.
Is he not coming back?
I don't know. He got kicked off all the way. So if he pops back up, I'll bring him back in.
Oh, it was such a good conversation.
That's when it always happens, man.
Yeah.
Beth, if you bring up
I've
If you
been on
bring
my
that up,
own
please.
streams
Sorry.
before and gotten kicked off and had to have the guests keep freaking everything going. So I came back. So,
Yeah.
what you got there, Richard?
If you would share, oh, you already did it. Never mind. Okay. I want to address for people who were listening, even if Khalil is not here, and perhaps he is listening, this and how this works. So I think I was trying to look for the paper when he was talking, and then we got cut off. But I'm going to do the best I can. This is probably not going to really answer what his actual object, because I was half listening. So I'm not good at multitasking. Okay, so here we are in 1 Samuel 16:23, the story of David and Goliath, where I did compile some time ago the actual definitions of the words and their etymology, and getting down to the root words and bringing the root meanings forward as you have to. Because if I say head and I don't say arrow before it, head doesn't mean arrowhead.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say arrow before you say head, or it loses its total context.
Yeah, we're instantly going to
things
think
are
of
like
the human skull. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you would assume the wrong thing if you didn't know it was talking about an arrowed head. You'd have to know that. So ignoring the etymology and the root words within the Bible is constant. They always ignore the root words. And I think you can't honestly do that, but they did get to keep their reading frame. So I reject the reading frame. I reject the scholarship. I reject the church fathers because they always ignored the deeper meanings of the words to keep their context. So here we are at I don't know, evil. The word evil. I'm using the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. I give the Hebrew definition number. Strong's is widely accepted as being a good source for the definitions of these actual words. So it means to be bad, or as a noun, evil, naturally or morally, in adversity, affliction, bad, calamity. Now, those are all the same idea expressed slightly differently and can be used in a variety of ways. Okay. So because this has all the same idea, it doesn't matter when I get to the word when, if, you, they, that's irrelevant.
Agreed.
Because that is so defined that I'm going to have no choice if I want to say evil, you, come. You already understood that. Or if I say come evil you, it's not that tough, actually. And because evil is so specific and you is so specific, I can even put in the wrong word you're still going to understand. Instead of saying evil come to you, I could say evil cat to you. Still got it. Evil dog to you. Evil refrigerator to you.
Right.
It's not going to matter. Because the overall context demands that I want evil toward you. And you don't have a choice. I'm wishing
no matter how
you
evil
ill.
comes. Right.
Right. And in fact, the University of Berkeley, California did an entire thing on this where they wrote several paragraphs. So you first you get the context, you get the total idea, and then your brain will start auto-correcting what they wrote. And they did things like doubled and tripled words. And you won't notice it unless you're specifically looking for it. They spelled things completely backwards. They put E before I every time they got a chance. and you'll breeze right through it, and you won't even notice there's something wrong. Because you have the overall context established and your brain will correct. You had to get on a different computer, didn't you, bud?
I'm on my phone right now. I don't know what's happening with my internet connection. Apparently, something happened.
Snap. Well, I'm glad you made it back. So,
yeah, it's okay. All right. So as I was saying before, you probably already went through and already described it.
Is this the word you were talking about? Let me say that. Let me ask you that first. Wow, now you're on a phone. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was simply talking about the word pass. The word pass is a bar, which means to cross over, specifically to cover in copulation, alienate, alter, beyond, bring, convey, escape, gender, meddle, perish, provoke, faring man, be wrath. I think those things mean those multiple different things. You could plug any of those words into the sentence and then find the next word, and it would be a very long, tedious process. But you could make it say anything you want it to say within the limits of the words that you can use.
Sure. How does it not mean change?
What is gender? How does gender have anything to do with change?
I don't think it means gender like sex. It means gender in language. Gender as sex is not the right way to use the word gender.
Bring, convey, escape. Metal, perish, provoke.
That's a modern way to use the word gender. That's not what would be here.
Okay, spirit. Air, anger, blast, breathe, cool, courage, mind, quarter, side,
did you
spirit.
just move on to something? Where are you at, man? Help me out.
No. So if all the other words within past, it looks like there's a change. There's a change in that. I can concede to that if we're saying that gender means something other than what I colloquially think it means. Colloquially identify it as. So I'm just looking at another example of something that I think I would ask what your answer for this is. Air, anger, blast, breathe, cool, courage, mind, quarter, side, spirit. Tempest, vein, wind.
Right? What are you trying to say? That's not all one idea.
Yeah. Breathe and courage, I don't see as the same thing at all.
No, all this.
Side.
All this is talking about the immaterial. It's using like how you can't see wind to say that wind is something invisible. You feel it, you know it's there, but it doesn't seem to be physical. Just like air, anger, the feeling of cool, to be courageous, the idea of mind. All of these things are all talking about the immaterial.
Quarter?
Yes. How would you divide something by 4 without the idea of dividing it by 4? The idea of 4 is immaterial.
I mean, I see what you're doing here. I mean, it's just, it doesn't, it seems like a very long-winded interpretation, which I respect it because I think it would take a really long time to be able to do all this.
I didn't have a choice but to do it this way. I mean, I'd love to have just presented the idea. Like at the end of all this insane amount of technical blah, 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 I did a summary where I wrote it all continuously in modern English.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would still love to read it and love to look over it. You know me, Richard. I'm all about the technicalities of things. Let's dig into the exact nuances of it. So I like what you have on the screen here, but I'm more interested how we got there, and I'm unlike other people, and I think Mac is like me, willing to dive into the specifics, the nuances of how you got here.
I find the specifics hugely interesting. But I can tell you quickly, summarily, that what is going on is during the whole story, there's an overall undeniable context of our solar system. And it's really unavoidable by the time you get through all of it. Now, I already understood that. And when I wrote the translation, it adheres to that. And definitionally, each of it is fine. It doesn't stretch or break any definitions anywhere. In fact, to say that a distant, not obvious thing becomes more obvious during the great day of the Lord, which rolls and is migratory and gigantic in size, is so hard to make an ancient warrior, it's kind of insane. It's kind of insane to say that Goliath was a man. You almost can't do it. First of all, Goliath doesn't live during end times. Is that a problem? It should be, because the wine press specifically means end times. It doesn't mean anything else anywhere in the Bible. So if it says he is an exposed during the wine press, and that is exactly what Gath Philistine means, definitionally, how did they get an ancient man out of that at all? I really have no choice. By the time you get to the end of the story, it has to mean the solar system. It's unavoidable.
Yeah. I mean, I can see what you're saying. I just don't.
Well, let's take the opposite view.
I think that if I was to take this paper,
yeah,
I could write a whole different sentence.
Go ahead.
Well,
and now do 50 sentences in a row and avoid this.
50 sentences in a row.
You take this and you do 50 sentences in a row and you avoid this translation.
Okay.
I dare you. It will be incoherent. There's no way you're making a coherent story that is not either A, David and Goliath, or B, our solar system. You will not get a third meaning out of this that means anything. And by the way, it can't mean David and Goliath either. So actually, you have one choice and one choice alone. And I'll bet you can't do 25 sentences in a row.
Okay, I'll take the challenge. I'm not saying that I can, but I'd love to try.
I think you should. Look, have I said from the start to absolutely everyone, go disprove this?
Yeah.
You know why I said that?
Because you've already tried.
Dude, I tried everything.
Yeah. Yeah, because when it says crossed over calamity, violent exhalation, Elohim above pressing down, asked to boil to journey, to twang to thrum, rising of light, asked to breathe freely, violent exhalation to turn off, ask. I mean, that sounds like incoherence.
It sounds like incoherence unless you look at all those staple ideas and you've got a solar ejecta and you don't have a choice about it. I mean, you said that and I understood it perfectly.
Yeah, well, without in modern English, that this might read as the following: calamity happened as a violent exhale, Elohim from above pressing down on Saul. Mercury started a journey, pulling the strings, causing a solar ejecta, relaxing Saul from producing more. Without that, I'd have no clue what that set up above.
Well, without context, you can't. You're right.
That's what he's saying. And it works within the context of that passage, and then maybe more importantly or more convincingly within the context of the whole text. And the most astounding thing about what Richard's saying is that it transcends the text of the Bible. It's the text in general. It's ancient text that speaks to this. That Now that's the claim that makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. You know,
I'll tell you what, here's the truth of it, guys. Recent science has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, has evidenced, I'll say it that way, has evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is a particle in solar ejecta that goes directly through solid rock,
right,
is soaked up by semi-solid and liquid rock, that is to say magma, lowers the viscosity of magma and triggers seismic events. You want to talk about the name Vulcan? How about we talk about the name from the Zuni Indian, the planet Kachina? How about if we talk about him? How about if we talk about Agni from Hinduism? How about if we talk about the quaking of the earth from Christianity? I can tell you this story so many ways.
Could you do what you've done here with the Bible? Could you do this with the Quran? And it shows the same thing.
If we have accurate definitions from the original text, and I can get a hold of that, I can totally do this with the Quran.
With the Quran, the original text is much more easily accessible and preserved than the Bible's text itself.
That's great. That just makes it easier.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be hard at all. So that's what I'll attempt to do. I'll go through the first part of the Quran.
What's the first story in the Quran?
So first surah. So do you want a surah or you want a story?
I don't know what words you mean. I know the word story.
Surah means chapter.
Okay. Do I want a chapter or a story? Well, I'm assuming I want 3 paragraphs. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So, yeah. So, I'll just read the first page. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the book and its guidance, sure without doubt to those who fear Allah, who believe in the unseen and are steadfast in prayer, and spend out what we have provided for them, and who believe in the revelation sent to thee, and sent there before thy time, and in their hearts and in their assurance of the hereafter. They are on true guidance from their Lord, and the seen will prosper. And to those who reject faith, it is the same to whether thou warn them or do not warn them, they will not believe. Allah hath set a seal on their hearts and on their hearing, and on their eyes is a veil. Great is the chastisement they incur. Of the people there are some who say, we believe in Allah and in the last day, but they do not really believe. Fain would they deceive Allah and those who believe, but they only deceive themselves and realize it not. In their hearts it is disease.
That's
and Allah
really interesting. It started out with the purpose of end times. That is super interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was pretty much the first page.
Okay, so it starts out telling why there'll be end times. All right.
Okay. So what can we take this to its original language, find the definitions for these words, and it ends up meaning something completely different from what we understood it.
No, that is completely coherent within the overall message. There will be end times. Believers and non-believers alike, in some percentages, will deny end times till it comes, and then when it comes, will be confused by it. That is that is coherent within itself already. I'll bet you can't untranslate that to mean something else.
Okay, so you're saying that we don't have to do what you've done with the Bible with the Quran.
That's not what I said. I said you don't need to fix what ain't broken. That ain't broken. That story is in every religion around the planet, what you just read.
So, okay, so and I'm not saying you're saying this, is the Bible broken?
In places, yes.
Like, for example, like if we don't have to go through the exhaustive translation, and then, in modern English, this might read as the following. All this stuff that you've done in your paper, which I find it amazing.
Some parts of it are super clean and easy and direct. Some parts of it are more complex and were saved for a later time. Christians, the Jews and the following Christians wanted it to fit into their paradigm and understanding. Because it didn't make sense, they stretched it to make sense to themselves. That doesn't mean any of it's wrong. What it means is they couldn't make sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, okay, we're humans. So what?
I would like, if you have time and the interest, I would like you to attempt to do what you've done with the Bible, with the Quran.
I have a copy in English waiting for me at my oldest sister's house if she didn't throw it away. I need to go back and check on that. Of course, I can get it online. Okay, but here's what we're going to have to do. In order to find a part that doesn't make sense, we need to find a part that doesn't make sense. Okay? In other words, it defeats physics. It defeats logic. It argues with other parts of the Quran.
Let's do this. Let's do this. I don't know exactly where it is. I will find it and I will get you.
How about if I do one of the miracles?
Well, yeah. Let's do the splitting of the moon.
Already done.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, if we were in a binary solar system and the Earth were directly between a major star and a minor star, as most solar systems are, there would be on a sphere 2 lit hemispheres and a dark line in between them.
So you're talking about an eclipse?
No. Gosh, I don't have 2 light sources that I can put a ball right here between.
Say it one more time, Richard.
In a binary solar system, our moon could be lit from 2 exact opposite directions, 180 or 0 degrees from each other, where the 2 side hemispheres are lit because there is a plane of our solar system.
Okay, so there's 2 light sources coming from the outside, which would create an area of darkness that looks like a line, that looks like the moon split in half.
Just like a harvest moon, only smaller. Your brain wouldn't even get the perception that there's something there.
Okay, so how does that line up with like cosmology in our history?
What do you mean history? Who's talking about history anywhere?
So you're saying that this hasn't happened yet, just like you're saying with
all prophetic except for the first 5 days of creation. Always. Every religion, everywhere. Let me give you an example. If I were Allah and I never lived on this planet, even if I had physical being, you'll agree with me that Allah never lived here.
Yes.
Okay, so then Allah is an intelligent who would look at this planet from above. Yes?
If you want to use those words, that's fine.
So, I mean, it follows, right? You wouldn't say it that way. Okay, fine.
Yeah. No, I play semantics with the word above, but I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
Okay. We could take it figurative or literal. I'm using it literally, above. Okay? That is, you'd never find Allah under the dirt.
Yeah, sure.
Where Allah ever is. Allah is never under the dirt, nor is he under the seas. But
yeah, I was just going to say, in space, if we were out in the middle of the cosmos,
right,
there is no up, down, left, right.
Okay, I'll be technically correct. When I say up and or above, I mean the opposite direction of the core of the planet.
Okay.
From the perspective of the surface. I don't mean a direction in space.
Okay.
I mean hovering above. Okay. From that point of view, when you talk about this planet, having never been on this planet, like any length of time, when you look down at this planet, it's a sphere. Okay. If you were in what was my overall point? Oh my gosh, splitting of the moon. What was help me out?
To show that it's going to happen in the future.
Oh, it's that it's prophetic.
Yeah.
I need more words. Of course, it's prophetic. No, I need more keywords that we were already using because I got sidetracked from above on the word above.
And so you said God exists from above. What did you say before that?
What was the overall objection? Help me out there.
You were just explaining how it's prophetic. So in that it hasn't happened yet, it's all prophetic for future times. You said that anything past the first 5 days of creation is all future prophecy. Come on, Mac, you've been listening. What's up?
It's in
You
every
pretty much
religion.
said everything that I was gonna say, man. I don't know. Go ahead, Mac.
That's it. That's universally applicable to every religion. That religions are prophetic in nature.
Guys, I'm afraid I'm not that smart. You guys probably think I'm smart, and I'm not. It's just this reading frame was handed to me, and it works. It's not because I figured it out.
I think you're brilliant. I really do.
Okay, well then I'm some kind of idiot, brilliant person, whatever the hell that means. But okay, so all right. I'm not good at prayer while nervous. I may as well just admit it. And I depend upon the Father reminding me of what the hell I'm talking about all the time. And I don't know right now. Okay, let me just backtrack a little bit and maybe I'll chill out. So, prayer is difficult when you're distracted. But, okay. Yeah. So I was saying binary solar system, plausible within physics, quakes caused by solar ejecta from the perspective of, okay, got it.
There we go.
Okay, so if God set up the solar system in such a way that the sun acts in such a way, then he would know that eventually certain things in the clockwork orange would line up. Okay? Eventually, you would end up with the Earth in a certain position, in a certain constellation, while the poles are flipping, while there's solar ejecta, directly impacting the Earth, triggering seismic events. The science of I don't know, I'm lowballing here, but I'm going to say heaven is probably like a class 4 Kardashev civilization. Oh, your internet came back. Is probably like a Kardashev class 4, in which case they could easily calculate those kinds of things. Okay? In fact, I think by the time you could cross a galaxy to get to another planet, you've already mastered all that crap for sure. And the stories definitely demand that beings, not us, come here and do things. That is, angels or whatever name you give them, whatever your religion describes them, demigods, whatever, are able to cross space-time, something we're not even close to doing. Okay? So from their perspective, looking at it from off of this Earth, it's very easy to say, I set this up, or I am pressing down. I'm causing this pressure. I'm the one affecting it. And what am I affecting? I'm affecting a violent exhale, an evil spirit to be expelled. Okay? The word evil there is that which affects us in a way that we perceive as evil always is described.
Not beneficial.
It's non-beneficial to us from our present perspective, which is very specific. Okay? After all, me breathing water, bad. Fish breathing water, good. If I breathe water, that's evil. It will result in my death. There's no way for me to survive that. So from the perspective of off the planet, they are pushing down on the sun, which causes a violent exhale. And we've shown in science that, yes, it's true. Planetary alignments, that doesn't mean it has to be a square or a diamond or a hexagon or whatever the hell you're imagining that an alignment means. Alignments can be not straight lines, by the way, because we're talking about the gravitational effect.
Right.
We're not talking about a pattern you think is pretty. So David plays the harp, that is thrums. It doesn't even say harp in the text. It doesn't say that.
No.
it says David thrums, to thrum, which means, oh gosh, I forgot what the total definition is. But the idea is that you're causing waves. And there's nothing, it uses the example of air waves, but it doesn't have to mean air waves. It just means, sine waves. You're causing an effect on something else. And it's true that planetary alignments encourage, do not cause, solar ejecta. That's a fact. I'm being too emphatic. It's a fact of science that planetary alignments can encourage solar ejecta from the sun when the potential is already there. That is electromagnetism pointing at something that is already bipolar and likely able to go off can be encouraged by the additional magnetic forces. That is, it helps pull it out of the sun. You can say it that way.
That seems very simple.
It is super simple, actually.
Yeah.
And Robert M. Price made practically your same objection, Khalil. He said that's awfully complex for an old story about two guys fighting. Okay. and he'd be right if it didn't answer more questions than it asks. Because what this does is in every religion that I know of, and I don't know them all, it takes their story of end times and tells how it's plausible within physics. And they do always happen in the same order, and they are always of the same magnitude, and the bodies are always described in a coherent way within all of the descriptions, and it would result in A, B, C, D. We end up in a binary solar system between two stars.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes so far that it's an old Baptist song. You wouldn't think it'd make it into a song, but it did. And everybody knows the lyrics to I Saw the Light.
Huh.
You know the lyrics, Mac?
Yeah,
I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness. No more night. Fill the world with God's holy light. Praise the Lord. I saw the light.
I saw the light. Yeah.
That's the earth directly between two stars.
Huh. No more darkness.
No more night. Well, for 40 days.
Right.
Then we rotate
cool.
out.
Well,
it's funny because if you do the calculations of the expansion and heat on Jupiter, we would be, because of its speed and our speed, we would be in direct sunlight from both directions for, count them, 40 days.
Wow.
That's not a maybe.
Well, Richard, I have hung out for 34 minutes, longer than I should have. But I always love talking to you. We always end up talking for hours. Mac, it was great meeting you.
Good to meet you too, brother.
I want to continue these conversations because, like I said, you know me. You've known me for over a year now, Richard. I'm open-minded to having my mind changed.
I know that you are doing your best to be honest at all times.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way that I can say it's the biggest compliment I could possibly pay someone. Okay. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, I want to say I support you in Islam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, deeply, emotionally, in a brotherly way. Mm-hmm. I believe you have found an expression of a future truth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want to do anything that I can to serve you because I know this brings you to God.
Yeah. I'm closer than I was 3 months ago when I said God didn't exist. So.
Wow.
We're still going to need to find a way to make sense to your specific mind, how to pray in such a way that you receive new information that is falsifiable and testable in reality and holds true, that you find emotionally provocative.
Yeah, because I never had a personal experience. When I pray, I don't get tingling feelings up my back. I'm going through the motions. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
And that's fine. But Okay, I'm going to say something a lot of people will object to now, like I haven't been.
What? Oh no, I'm sorry to kick you off. That's not a lot of
Nothing controversial.
Trump's son doesn't need to earn his inheritance. And we don't need mantra.
Can you make that into a wristband?
Sure. You've already been given permission. Guilt is based in pride, thinking that you might be responsible. The absolution of guilt is mantra, giving you permission to be what you always were. No one ever needed to say a Hail Mary. Not ever. They just think they need permission to be themselves. And that's freaking sad.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate excuse me. I appreciate the compliments, Richard. And yeah, I do have to jump off of here. I have a meeting earlier than I thought tomorrow morning. So thank you for the conversation. B, thank you for the hospitality. Mac,
always, buddy. Always
thank you for being another person to come in here and try and tackle this thing that Richard has going on, because it's definitely throws you for a loop. I utterly enjoy talking to Richard about his views on things, because it's extraordinary. It's unlike any other thought process that I've ever come across.
Totally.
That's a problem.
Totally.
It's like no thought process I ever came across.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to end it anyway, so just hang out a second here, Khalil. You can say goodbye to everybody.
Okay.
Everybody in the chat, I appreciate you, whoever's left out there. Thank you for still listening and hanging out. Thank you for the support and the love. I love you back. Everybody in the panel, thank you for coming on. It's been a great discussion. And you guys can finish this in the background. If you guys ever want to come on and debate anything or talk about anything, I will fucking host it, and you guys can just chill and talk. And then you can mirror it if you want. Okay?
Wow.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks,
everybody. Take care of yourselves.
You
Take
too.
care of one another, and have some peace.